Su Xiao had crossed into the body of an inner sect elder of the Piao sect, a 1,000-year-old man whose lifespan was about to run out. His beautiful junior martial sister, his childhood companion, and his peerlessly graceful master were both in the prime of their lives, while only he stood at the brink of old age. On the verge of dying of old age, his master bestowed upon him a longevity pill to extend his life, asking him to find a Tao companion and leave behind descendants before his final days. At that very moment, the system finally arrived. As long as he presented gifts to women blessed with great fortune, he would receive enormous rewards in return. On Piao Peak, clouds and mist coiled around the mountains, and the air was dense with spiritual energy. Outside the secret realm entrance behind the mountain, a beautiful woman in a long white dress stood before two people, offering them careful instructions. Linger, Su Xiao, this seclusion of mine will last 10 years at the shortest and 100 years at the longest. The graceful woman's figure was light and slender, her white dress outlining her elegant bearing. Her skin was as fair as carved jade, smooth and luminous. Her features were gentle and exquisitely beautiful, her bearing rich with quiet grace. Her long black hair was gathered at the crown of her head with a jade hairpin, a few strands lifting in the breeze, making her seem like an immortal descended to the mortal world. Her breath was as light as orchid fragrance, as if carrying a faint hint of flowers. She radiated a unique, mature charm. She was the supreme elder of the Piao sect, Xiao. Before her stood a young woman in a green dress and an elderly man in a gray robe with white hair. Xiao looked at the young woman in the green dress and said, "Linger, you are now the sect master of the Piao sect. While your master is away, you must manage the affairs of the sect. If you encounter difficulties, seek guidance from the other supreme elders. Your master has already spoken with them." The young woman in green, eyes tinged with reluctance, nodded and said, "Yes, master." Xiao then turned her gaze to Su Xiao, the white-haired elder whose face was creased with wrinkles, the old man who seemed already half a step into the grave. Su Xiao shivered slightly, hurriedly leaning on his wooden staff as he stepped forward and said, "Disciple is here." Xiao sighed and said, "Last month you failed your divine transformation lightning tribulation, and your cultivation fell all the way down to the foundation establishment stage. In this life, you can no longer hope to advance in cultivation, and your remaining lifespan is less than a year. I have here a longevity pill that can grant you one last span of 50 years. In these 50 years, find a Tao companion and live a good life. If you can leave behind descendants, then your journey in this world will not have been in vain." With those words, she moved her hand lightly, and a small white porcelain bottle appeared in her slender fair fingers. "This disciple thanks master." Su Xiao reached out, his aged face alight with emotion, and carefully received the longevity pill. His heart was so moved, he could almost weep. At last he finally had something of value he could give away. A month ago, in his failed attempt to cross the lightning tribulation and advance to the divine transformation stage, his cultivation had plummeted from the 9th level of the nascent soul stage down to the 1st level of foundation establishment. That failure had shattered his Tao heart. He had no further chance to cultivate, and could only wait quietly for old age and death. He had lived in this cultivation world for 1,000 years, yet the system had stubbornly refused to appear, forcing him to forge his path through sheer effort alone. Even though he had entered Xiao's tutelage as a disciple of the supreme elder of the Piao sect, his ordinary talent had ultimately stalled at the nascent soul stage. Yet fortunately, just yesterday, the 10,000-fold rebate system had finally appeared. As long as he presented items to women blessed with great fortune, he would receive immense returns. In order to face the lightning tribulation, he had already emptied his savings and had almost nothing left that could be given as a gift. Now things had changed. With this longevity pill, he finally had a valuable item he could use to activate the system. Inwardly, he grumbled at the system for appearing only after 1,000 years, when he was already on the verge of dying of old age. Quietly cursing in his heart, Su Xiao once more bowed and sincerely thanked Xiao. At that moment, an unseen voice of the system resounded within his mind, declaring that it had detected a woman of great fortune, Xiao herself. The system assessed her fortune as SSS level with an initial rebate of 100-fold and a bond level of 1 point, and hinted that the first gift offered to an SS level woman of fortune would certainly trigger a 10,000-fold critical rebate, and that deeper bonds would gradually increase the rebate multiplier. An SS level woman of fortune. Su Xiao's aged eyes lit up, and his hand holding the longevity pill trembled slightly. His master turned out to be an SS level woman of fortune, and from the very beginning, he would already receive a 100-fold rebate. Su Xiao was stunned. This was likely the highest level of fortune he had ever encountered. Even his junior martial sister sect master Duguling possessed only S-level fortune. Xiao once more reminded Duguling to help Su Xiao find a companion to accompany him through his remaining years, then turned toward the secret realm entrance, preparing to end. Su Xiao hurriedly called out, "Master, please wait." Xiao turned back, her gentle, beautiful features showing a hint of surprise as she asked Su Xiao, "Is there something else?" Su Xiao's eyes flickered with calculation as he quickly raised his only low-grade magical artifact, a slender wooden staff, with both hands. Within this staff was a low-grade magical sword. It was his final defensive artifact. He had originally used it merely as a walking stick, but now he had to seize this chance to offer a gift. Once his master entered seclusion, there would be few opportunities to present anything. With a trace of sorrow, he said, "Master, once you depart this time, I fear I may never see you again. This is the last thing your disciple can offer you. Though it is only a low-grade magical sword, let it be my final tribute. I hope Master will accept it and keep it as a remembrance." Su Xiao spoke with sincerity, yet inwardly feared that Ji Xue might refuse. The system's rules required that any gift be offered naturally and in accord with reason, or it would not be counted. Otherwise, it would be deemed invalid. Now that he was already nearing the end of his life, offering a keepsake to his master as a parting gift seemed perfectly reasonable in every respect. Ji Xue let out a soft sigh. Looking at her white-haired disciple, her eyes were filled with quiet lament. The path of cultivation was a struggle against the heavens. Su Xiao, with his limited talent, had simply been unable to walk much further. She extended her fair, delicate hand and accepted the wooden staff from him. "Very well, Su Xiao. In these 50 years, remain in the Miao sect as an ordinary man and enjoy your life. With your junior sister here, no one will dare bully you." With that, she shook her head lightly and stepped into the secret realm. The heavy greenstone doors on either side of the entrance slowly. Outside the gate, only Su Xiao and Dugu Ling remained. The system's voice sounded again, congratulating him on successfully gifting the low-grade magical sword and announcing that his first gift to Ji Xue had triggered a 10,000-fold critical rebate, returning to him a treasure, the Nanning Lihua sword. The Nanning Lihua sword. A treasure. Su Xiao's eyes shone with joy. He had never expected that by offering the low-grade magical sword, he would receive a true treasure in return. It truly lived up to the promise of a 10,000-fold critical rebate. After cultivating for 1,000 years, he knew well how rare treasures were in this world. Ordinary magical artifacts were divided into low, middle, high, and supreme grades. The wooden staff he had just offered was only a low-grade magical artifact. Yet above even supreme-grade artifacts, there existed another category: treasures born in accord with heaven and earth, true treasures. This Nanning Lihua sword was precisely such a true treasure, something every cultivator longed for. Within the entire Miao sect, there were altogether only 3 items that could truly be called treasures. He had never imagined that he would now possess one himself, all thanks to the 10,000-fold critical rebate triggered by his SS-level master. Looking at the Nanning Lihua sword resting within his system's storage, Su Xiao felt deeply satisfied. He was grateful that he had just given away his walking stick. The system's storage space was a vast repository he could use freely, far more convenient than any storage bag. He no longer needed to carry a storage bag. "Senior brother, don't worry. In these last 50 years, I will find you a beautiful Tao companion," Dugu Ling said with a smile. "I promise you will be satisfied, senior brother." Her beautiful phoenix eyes gleamed with intelligence and lively spirit. Her skin was fair and smooth like fine jade. She was tall and slender, standing as gracefully as a blooming flower. Her long hair fell like a waterfall down to her waist, carrying a faint, pleasant fragrance. The elegant lines of her collarbones highlighted her natural grace. Her white neck was slender and poised. Her fitted green dress outlined her bearing with clarity. Looking at his extraordinarily beautiful junior sister, Su Xiao could not help but feel a trace of sighing emotion in his heart. Dugu Ling had been his childhood companion from their village. Back then, Ji Xue had taken her in as a disciple, and seeing him as well had simply brought him into the Miao sect too. Yet nothing had ever come of it between them. 1,000 years had passed, and they remained only senior and junior martial siblings. After all, with her extraordinary talent, she had become the sect master of the Miao sect. While he was now only an inner sect elder on the verge of death. "Junior sister, there is no need to trouble yourself so much. I am about to die of old age and do not wish to drag out these extra 50 years. Let me give this longevity pill to you instead." With that, he spoke his final words of resolve. On the terrace outside the secluded sect grounds behind the mountain, Su Xiao offered a small porcelain white bottle with a gentle, kindly smile. Seeing this, Dugu Ling's delicate brows knit slightly. As she spoke, "Senior brother, this was prepared by Master specifically to extend your life. Senior brother, let us not give in to despair. If you take the Shuyuan pill, you will have 50 more years of life. After some time, I will find you a beautiful wife, and you can spend your remaining years peacefully here in the sect." Looking at the white-haired frail Su Xiao before her, Dugu Ling could not help but sigh inwardly. She recalled how in former years her senior brother had been strikingly handsome, so dazzling that her own Tao heart had nearly wavered and fallen for him. She had never imagined that after 1,000 years her senior brother would have aged so drastically. At this thought, a small ache rose in Dugu Ling's heart. Her once dazzlingly handsome senior brother had already reached the twilight of his life. Seeing her expression, Su Xiao nonetheless put the Shuyuan pill away into his spatial storage. As expected, casually giving such a thing away was not proper, and the system would not acknowledge it. Gazing at Dugu Ling's lively, beautiful features, Su Xiao sighed with a wry smile, and said, "Junior sister, I am already so old. Why would I still seek a wife? What does it matter if you are old? Senior brother, you were so handsome in the past. Even now, though you have aged, you still retain some of your former bearing. Besides, you are the senior brother of me, the sect master of the Misty Sect, and also the disciple of the Grand Elder. The daughters of many great clans would be eager to marry you and form a bond with our Misty Sect. Senior brother, be at ease. Back then in the village your parents took me in. I will not allow their bloodline to end." Su Xiao smiled and nodded. Though Dugu Ling possessed extraordinary talent and had become sect master, she had never forgotten the kindness his family had shown her. She was truly a good young woman who understood gratitude. "Come, senior brother, I will escort you back to the outer mountain," Dugu Ling said with a smile. Misty Peak had two mountain summits, the outer mountain and the inner mountain. The inner mountain was relatively small and served as the sect's core where the inner elders and inner disciples resided. The outer mountain was larger and housed the outer elders and outer disciples. 1 month earlier, Su Xiao had failed his tribulation transcendence, his cultivation falling back to the first level of foundation establishment, causing him to lose the ability to fly on a sword. Thus, the steep terrain of the inner mountain was no longer suitable for him, and he had simply moved to a secluded place on the outer mountain to spend his remaining years. At this moment, Dugu Ling summoned a flying sword that hovered before them. She leapt onto it first, calling, "Senior brother, come up quickly." Su Xiao blinked. With his aged body, he shuffled forward in small steps. Having lost his wooden staff, even his gait had become unsteady. "Junior sister, I am too old. I cannot jump up." Standing by the flying sword which hovered at his waist height, Su Xiao found he simply had no way to get on. Although he remained at the first level of foundation establishment and still had some spiritual energy within him, his body was too old to muster any strength. He sighed softly. "Senior brother, let me help you," she said. Seeing this, a trace of sorrow rose in Dugu Ling's heart. Growing old was indeed pitiful. She stepped down, wrapped her arms around Su Xiao, and together they settled onto the flying sword. On the sword, Su Xiao, unable to maintain his balance, shifted his arm. "Senior brother, do not move around," Dugu Ling scolded gently. She caught his hand and placed it at her waist. "Just hold on to my waist." Su Xiao gave an awkward smile. "Junior sister, in old age one's limbs grow difficult to control. Forgive me." He sighed inwardly. Back when they were young, though they had never taken their relationship to its final step, they had still shared the sweetness of a pair of young lovers. Just like a pair of sweet young lovers. Yet on the very night that should have been their wedding night, Ji Shui had arrived unexpectedly and took Dugu Ling away in advance. The memory still left Su Xiao feeling stifled in his chest, lamenting the unfairness of life. The beautiful wife he had dreamed of had simply slipped away. The two of them soared, flew side by side, the beauty of Misty Peak's inner and outer mountains unfolding beneath them. Clouds coiled around towering ridges and steep cliffs. Misty Peak lay in the eastern part of the Panlong continent, near the 10,000 mountains, and was the oldest cultivation sect in the region. "Senior brother, don't lean so close," Dugu Ling muttered. Though slightly uncomfortable, Dugu Ling did not push him away. In this lifetime, she had only ever grown close to her senior brother. She had never even held hands with any other man, and in truth, she still liked him. Of course, it was the younger version of her senior brother that she liked. Now that he was old, her heart no longer surged with the same impulsive feeling. Standing behind her, Su Xiao held on to Dugu Ling tightly, his whole body tense with fear. "Junior sister, slow down. Senior brother is old and cannot endure such excitement." Though Dugu Ling guided the sword steadily, the altitude was simply too great, and the aged Su Xiao had grown somewhat afraid of heights. Ever since he had failed the lightning tribulation and fallen back to the first level of foundation establishment, his appearance had become severely aged. Now even various ailments of old age had begun to surface. Fortunately, his mind remained clear, otherwise even the arrival of the system would have been in vain. The flying sword descended toward a hillside on the outer mountain, a secluded courtyard and small house that now served as Su Xiao's residence. From there, a path led conveniently to the outer hall suitable for his old age. Dugu Ling helped Su Xiao down from the sword. Seeing that he still looked shaken, she felt an ache in her heart. "Senior brother, rest assured. In these last 50 years, I will find a good young woman to care for you," Dugu Ling said. She stepped forward and embraced the senior brother she had. Though his skin had grown dry and shriveled with age, she did not care. To her, he was family. Su Xiao sighed. "Junior sister, go. Tend well to the sect. I can manage on my own. You are now the head of a sect. Your Tao heart must remain firm. Birth, aging, sickness, and death are but ordinary parts of life." Dugu Ling released. Su Xiao took a deep breath and nodded. "Senior brother, here are 100 high-grade spirit stones. Keep them. They should suffice for your 50 years of living expenses." Dugu Ling took a small pouch from her robe and handed it to Su Xiao. "When I find a good young woman, I will inform you at once." "Senior brother, wait for my good news," she added. Su Xiao accepted the full pouch, his expression brightening at once. It would be a new starting fund for his return system. Junior sister, thank you, Xiao said. He did not refuse. This was precisely what he needed now. In future days, once he prospered, he would repay her 1,000-fold. Senior brother, the sect still has many important matters awaiting me. I will not stay longer. Take care, senior brother. With that a trace of complexity in her eyes, Dugu Ling rose on her sword and flew away from that hillside on the outer mountain. Nearby, outer disciples climbing up the mountain looked on as Dugu Ling soared into the sky, their eyes full of awe. It's Sect Master Dugu. Someone exclaimed silently in their hearts. They understood at once the sect master had surely come to visit Elder Su. Alas, Elder Su is so virtuous and respected, kind, and upright. How could he fail his tribulation? Heaven is unjust. I heard Elder Su has only 1 year left to live. After failing the tribulation, his cultivation dropped to the first level of foundation establishment. How pitiful. Elder Su, you died so tragically. Several outer disciples nearly broke into tears. Over the past millennium, Su Xiao had been well-liked within the Piao sect and deeply revered by its members. It was no exaggeration to say that Su Xiao's prestige far surpassed that of his junior sister Dugu Ling. After all, his immortal-like appearance lent him consider. What nonsense are you spouting? Elder Su hasn't died yet. 1 year of life is still life. At this final moment of Elder Su, I've made up my mind. I will break through to foundation establishment and let Elder Su witness my determination. Elder Su is an inner sect elder. Would he care about a chi-refining outer disciple like you? You're overthinking it. The outer disciples walking up the mountain path gazed towards Su Xiao's exquisite cottage and courtyard in the distance. Each face bore an expression of reverence. Elder Su was truly the model of the Piao sect. Su Xiao returned to his courtyard, entered the room, and sat cross-legged on the bed. This courtyard had been built for him by Dugu Ling's order. It was located on the outer mountain where spiritual energy was abundant, surrounded by fallen leaves and green trees, offering a pleasant view. For his convenience, it was close to the mountain path. Just a short walk down a small lane, he could easily reach the outer sect's main hall. Nanming Lihua's sword. Su Xiao sat before the bed and retrieved from his spatial storage a divine sword glowing with a faint fiery red light. The sword in his hand measured 3.5 feet in length, its hilt crafted from an unknown red jade, crystal clear. The blade was forged from dark red divine iron imbued with innate spiritual energy, its radiance subdued. This is clearly far superior to those previous magical artifacts. Su Xiao rejoiced inwardly. Now he could feel a special connection with the Nanming Lihua sword. Needless to say, when the system returned the Nanming Lihua sword, it had already perfectly refined it for him. Now this sword was like an extension of his own limbs, easily. With a mere thought, the Nanming Lihua sword suddenly floated in midair. Then under Su Xiao's command, it shot out the window, soaring into the sky like a blazing red meteor. Afterward, it plummeted at unmatched speed, effortlessly severing several massive ancient trees before slowly returning through the window and hovering before him. So powerful. Su Xiao's heart swelled with excitement. Previously, his strongest magic artifact was a high-grade artifact, and his cultivation base was the 9th level of nascent soul. When he had just wielded the Nanming Lihua sword, though not surpassing his own peak state, it still possessed at least the offensive power of a nascent soul cultivator. A first-level foundation establishment cultivator relying on a heaven and earth treasure could achieve nascent soul-level attack power. Unbelievable. But not every foundation establishment cultivator can perfectly refine a spiritual treasure. Su Xiao smiled faintly and withdrew the Nanming Lihua sword. The perfect control over the sword was thanks to the system's help in refining it. As for giving the Nanming Lihua sword to someone else and then getting it back, that probably wasn't possible. He had no reason to give away a spiritual treasure now. In fact, he didn't even want anyone to know he possessed such a divine artifact. Better to keep it for self-protection for now. After that, he took out the longevity pill given by Ji Shui, pondered briefly, and swallowed it. Since he now had 100 high-grade spirit stones, he might as well consume it directly and gain 50 more years of life. Congratulations, host. Your lifespan has increased by 50 years. Character panel activated. Name Su Xiao. Age 1008. Cultivation first level of foundation establishment. Special physique none. Remaining lifespan 51 years. Oh, there's a character panel. After taking the longevity pill, Su Xiao glanced at the panel before his eyes. There wasn't much useful information, but his lifespan had indeed increased to 51 years. At that moment, his body began to transform. The organs that had withered from blood and qi loss now brimmed with vitality. His 5 senses sharpened, and the stiffness of old age vanished, replaced by newfound agility. He got off the bed and paced around. Though his appearance had barely changed, his aura was distinctly different. He stood straighter and walked with vigor. Now all his previous geriatric ailments had disappeared, leaving him a healthy old man. Stroking his goatee, Su Xiao nodded in satisfaction. The longevity pill had excellent effect. Though he still had a wrinkled face and white hair and beard, at least internally, he was brimming with life, no worse than an average youth. After all, he was now a foundation establishment cultivator. Next, I need to plan the use of these 100 high-grade spirit stones. With the physical problem resolved, the most important thing now wasn't to rush around finding daughters of fortune to give gifts. Rather, it was to first purchase a batch of cultivation resources. Otherwise, how could he inexplicably give away spirit stones to others? That would go against all rules. Who knows, the young girl might even think he wanted to keep her. Having made up his mind, Xiao took out a yellow transmission talisman, made a hand seal, and spoke into it. Lu Danian, it's me, your uncle Master Su. Come over to my place if you're free. I want to go down the mountain to buy something, and I'd like you to accompany me. Soon a respectful and eager reply came from the talisman. Yes. Yes. Uncle Master Su, wait for me. He'll be right there. He'll be right there. Shortly after putting away the talisman, a sturdy, tall, and burly middle-aged man flew into the courtyard on his sword. Bowing toward the house, he said, Disciple Lu Danian pays respects to Uncle Master Su. Xiao walked out and looked at the honest-looking burly man, nodding with a smile. The other was a disciple of his junior sister Dugu Ling, currently serving as the outer sect's law enforcement elder. Though he was Dugu Ling's disciple, Xiao had personally trained him since his entry into the sect. That the man had now reached the 6th level of nascent soul was entirely due to Xiao. As for himself, he had no disciples. He had spent his time training others for his junior sister. Danian, your uncle master here, is only at the foundation establishment realm now and can't fly on a sword. He'll have to rely on you to carry me, Xiao said with a smile. Upon hearing this, Lu Danian's ox-like eyes reddened and tears burst forth like a fountain. Uncle master, rest assured, as long as I'm here you can go wherever you wish. Disciple will carry you for the rest of my life. Saying this, he couldn't help but kneel before Xiao, weeping like a child, clutching his uncle master's thigh tightly. His uncle master had been so good to him his whole life. And now, it was too tragic. With only 1 year of life left, he didn't want his uncle master to pass away. What are you doing? I'm not dead yet. Why such sorrow? The nearest major human city to the Misty Void sect was Tiger Roar City. Tiger Roar City was located in the eastern part of the coiling dragon continent belonging to the state of Donglai. To be precise, the Misty Void sect was also within the borders of the state of Donglai. However, as one of the most ancient sects on the coiling dragon continent, the Misty Void sect held a transcendent status above the state of Donglai and was not bound by its laws. Due to its proximity to the Misty Void sect, Tiger Roar City was far more prosperous than several nearby cities. Cultivators could be seen everywhere within the city, making it an important hub for them to exchange resources. Uncle Master, we have arrived. Let me help you down. Lu Danian dutifully assisted the white-haired elder behind him to dismount from the flying sword. They stopped at the city gate. Human cities had regulations prohibiting sword flight within the walls, a rule observed by all cultivators. Uncle Master, where should we go to buy things? Lu Danian sheathed his flying sword and, looking at the densely packed crowds of various people queuing at the gate, asked Xiao. The latter stroked his beard and said thoughtfully, Let's go to the largest trading firm in Tiger Roar City, the Purple Dawn Trading Firm. I am familiar with that place. The purchases will be quick. Yes. Please wait a moment, Uncle Master. Lu Danian reached into his chest, and instantly a small carriage appeared. The carriage was exquisitely crafted with a mechanical horse in front and a cabin behind. It was a device of the artifice school, much like the communication talismans used earlier, unranked merely for the convenience of daily life. He helped Xiao into the carriage cabin, then took the reins himself to guide the mechanical horse. Tiger Roar City was bustling with a constant flow of people within its walls. Lu Danian's beautiful and exquisite mechanical carriage drew many gazes as it traveled down the street. Oh, it's an elder from the Misty Void sect. Judging by the attire, he must be an outer sect elder. What a lovely carriage. I wish I could have one. The Misty Void sect certainly displays great style. Alas, if only I could join the Misty Void sect in this lifetime. The mechanical carriage weaved through the crowd and soon arrived before a magnificent 3-story pavilion. The pavilion was adorned with gold and jade, standing out proudly along the main eastern avenue. The cultivators entering and exiting all had restrained auras, mostly being high-level practitioners. It is an honored guest from the Misty Void sect. 2 esteemed seniors. Please come in. Please come in. They put away the carriage and entered. The old steward in the main hall immediately spotted Xiao and Lu Danian. When the old steward saw Xiao's face, he was startled on the spot, his complexion turning ruddy. It is Elder Su. This humble one pays respects to Elder Su. The old steward excitedly bowed to Xiao. This elder's status within the Misty Void sect was no ordinary matter. He was an inner sect elder. Even the manager of this very Purple Dawn trading firm would treat him with the utmost courtesy and respect. Xiao said amiably with a smile, Haha, Steward Chun, I have come to purchase some items for the juniors. The quantity is quite large. I think it best we discuss this on the 3rd floor. Of course. The old steward said with a placating smile, Please, both of you. This humble one will immediately take you to a private room on the 3rd floor. The manager will come personally to attend to you shortly. In a beautifully fragrant private room on the third floor, a charming woman dressed in a purple gown gracefully entered. I never expected it to be Elder Su of the Misty Sect. For an elder to grace our Purple Dawn trading firm in person is truly our firm's honor. The woman in purple looked at the two men at the table, approached them to greet them, and extended her fair, delicate hand to pour tea for them. Xiao looked up. The woman wore a long purple. Her face was as radiant and delicate as a blooming flower, enchantingly beautiful, with skin as white as snow, smooth and fine. She was tall and slender with graceful curves, her fair and well-proportioned jade-like legs subtly visible beneath the hem of her skirt, exuding a captivating charm. The neckline of her dress was slightly lowered, revealing her impressive figure. Most striking was the teardrop mole at the corner of her eye, which made her even more alluring and irresistible. This was Ziyun, the manager of the Purple Dawn trading firm in Tiger Roar City. Manager Z, it has been a while. You have become even more extraordinary, Xiao. I am nothing compared to Elder Su. Elder, what may I help you with during your visit to our Purple Dawn trading firm this time? Ziyun sat down beside them, her smile blossoming like a flower. If Elder Su just says the word, our firm will certainly offer you a satisfactory price. She looked at Xiao, a faint glimmer flickering in her eyes. Rumors had it that Xiao, the inner sect elder of the Misty Sect, had failed his thunder tribulation a month ago. His cultivation had dropped to the foundation establishment stage, and he was nearing the end of his lifespan. But looking at his current spirited demeanor, it didn't seem as severe as the rumors suggested. Just as Xiao was about to speak, a system voice echoed in his ear. Destiny Maiden detected. Ziyun, Destiny level, a return multiplier 10x bond 1. And a level Destiny Maiden. Xiao's eyes flickered, a trace of light passing through them. He hadn't expected Ziyun, the manager of the Purple Dawn trading firm, to be an A-level Destiny Maiden. He had encountered many female cultivators over the past 2 days, and had discovered one thing: Destiny Maidens were not a common sight. They were relatively rare. Even clever Destiny Maidens were uncommon. Steadying his mind, Xiao laughed. Haha, I have rather a lot of things I wish to purchase this time. They'll have to trouble Manager Z. Ziyun's eyes lit up, and she smiled. Elder Su, just say the word. We can certainly negotiate a fair price. Xiao had already decided what he wanted to buy before coming. He spoke slowly. 20 low-grade artifacts, 200 foundation establishment pills, and 20 golden core nourishing pills. That should be about it. After he finished speaking, Ziyun blinked in slight surprise. Beside him, Lu Danian's eyes widened like saucers as he looked over. Uncle Master, why are you buying so many things? Does Uncle Master even have this many spirit stones? He was a bit stunned. Originally, he had planned to pay for his Uncle Master himself as a token of filial respect. Now he decided to keep his mouth shut. Well, Manager Z, do you have everything in stock? Xiao asked with a smile. Since he was giving these things away in a naturally reasonable manner, these items were relatively easy to gift. Foundation establishment pills were used by cultivators in the foundation establishment stage for cultivation, while golden core nourishing pills were for those in the core formation stage. Along with the low-grade artifacts, these were all necessities for cultivation, a hard currency. Furthermore, he himself needed foundation establishment pills for his own cultivation now. Yes, of course we do. Ziyun's face lit up with immense joy. This was a huge transaction. Elder Su, please follow me to the second floor. We have over 100 low-grade artifacts displayed there. Elder Su, just take your pick. A quarter of an hour later, at the main entrance of the Purple Dawn trading firm, Xiao had successfully spent 50 high-grade spirit stones to purchase what he needed. Among them, the 20 low-grade artifacts cost a total of 20 high-grade spirit stones. The 200 foundation establishment pills cost another 20 high-grade spirit stones. The 20 golden core nourishing pills also cost 20 high-grade spirit stones. The total was originally 60 high-grade spirit stones. However, due to Xiao's status as an inner sect elder of the Misty Sect, and being a regular customer, a discount was given, and he was charged only 50 high-grade spirit stones. The enchanting Ziyun and Steward Chun saw them off at the entrance, their eyes filled with delight. 50 high-grade spirit stones was a colossal sum. Lu Danian invited Xiao into the carriage, but the latter looked at the captivating Ziyun and asked Lu Danian to wait. Then he took out a low-grade artifact, a golden hairpin he had specifically chosen earlier, and held it out before Ziyun. Stroking his snowy white beard, Xiao's face crinkled into a smile. Manager Z, this golden hairpin is so beautiful. I think it is perfectly suited for a graceful lady like yourself. Your trading firm saved me 10 high-grade spirit stones. Allow me to gift this hairpin to you, Manager Z, as a token of my gratitude. As Xiao finished speaking, the smiles on Ziyun's and Steward Chen's faces instantly froze. Even Lu Danian behind them blinked his cow-like eyes in disbelief. Steward Chun and Lu Danian were awkwardly rooted to the spot, while the enchanting Ziyun was also somewhat stunned. A noble white-haired old man actually gave Ziyun a hairpin, an intimate item. They dared not speak. Steward Chun and Lu Danian didn't dare utter a word, Given Elder Zu's status in the Piao sect, they wouldn't dare to breathe a word of dissent. Ziyin snapped back to reality, gazing at the serene and natural smile on that withered, aged face. Her beautiful eyes blinked several times. There was surprise, confusion, and then a hint of concealed delight. Old thing. He's about to die yet still covets pretty girls. Ziyin sneered inwardly. She was a woman of experience. What else could it mean when such a venerable elder gave her a hairpin? He clearly had that kind of intention. But he was simply too old. She couldn't accept it. Of course, even if he weren't old, she wouldn't inexplicably accept any man. Thank you, Elder Su. Elder Su, if you ever need to buy anything, please patronize my Zilai merchant house. Ziyin still accepted the golden hairpin and tucked it into her bosom. Even if she didn't accept it, she couldn't embarrass the Piao sect's esteemed inner-sect elder in front of so many people. Su Xiao stroked his beard and chuckled. Of course, with Manager Z here, if I have any needs in the future, I'll naturally come to your establishment to do business. Congratulations to the host for gifting the low-grade magical hairpin successfully. First gift to Ziyun triggered a 1,000-fold critical hit, returning the supreme-grade magic weapon 9 Heavens Divine Phoenix Hairpin. 9 Heavens Divine Phoenix Hairpin, a supreme-grade magic weapon. When infused with spiritual energy, it releases a Fire Phoenix attack, whose power increases with the user's cultivation level. Supreme-grade magic weapon 9 Heavens Divine Phoenix Hairpin. Gazing at the 9 Heavens Divine Phoenix Hairpin gleaming in his spatial storage, Su Xiao secretly this reward was incredibly thrilling. Although a supreme-grade magic weapon is inferior to a Dharma treasure, it is still a supreme magic weapon, rare and hard to come by in this cultivation world. He was previously at the 9th level of nascent soul, yet he didn't even possess one supreme-grade magic weapon. Even the sect leader, his junior sister Dugaling, only had 2 supreme-grade magic weapons. If sold for spirit stones, it would be an astronomical price. Ziyin looked at his immortal-like demeanor and righteous appearance, a hint of mockery flashing through. Old fellow, you're putting on a good act. After they parted, Su Xiao boarded the carriage with Lu Danian's support. The carriage swayed slowly, heading along East Street toward the city gate. At the entrance of Zilai Merchant House, Steward Chun watched the departing carriage and said with a peculiar expression, "Manager, I heard Elder Su only has 1 year left to live." I didn't expect he'd still have such thoughts. Truly hale and hearty in his old age. Ziyun straightened her impressive figure and said with slight smugness, doesn't this just prove that I as the manager have extraordinary charm? All right, old Chun, get back to work. Elder Su doesn't have much time left. Do I expect he'll come here to spend more spirit stones? We should receive him well. He's a fat sheep. East Street was bustling and prosperous, filled with streams of people and all kinds of shops. In the carriage, Lu Danian glanced with his ox-like eyes at Su Xiao, who was meditating cross-legged. His simple, honest face showed some concern as he said, "Uncle Master, hold on a bit longer. Master is already looking for a Dao companion for you. Shall definitely be no worse than that Ziyun." He too was a man understanding the helpless loneliness in his Uncle Master's heart right now. Now that his Uncle Master was on his deathbed, wanting to experience a woman was perfectly normal. He truly understood from the bottom of his heart. Su Xiao opened his eyes and looked at Lu Danian as if he were an idiot. The latter continued, "Uncle Master, if it really doesn't work tomorrow, they'll have a few beautiful outer sect female disciples attend to you. In the outer sect disciplinary elder, they won't dare refuse." Su Xiao's face darkened and he let out a heavy sigh. Then he gave Lu Danian a slap on that big head. "You rascal. What are you saying? You want to sexually harass our sect's female disciples?" Su Xiao said with disgust. "Do you think your Uncle Master is that kind of person? I gave that Ziyin something just to be polite. Even if I explain more, you wouldn't understand. Danian, your Uncle Master, is not that kind of person. I have another reason for giving Ziyin that gift. It's not what you think. Just trust your Uncle Master." Lu Danian looked at the sincere old face and nodded heavily. That's what he thought. How could someone as venerable as his Uncle Master be interested in those beautiful faces? So he had been mistaken. But he didn't ask for the specific reason, because he chose to trust his Uncle Master unconditionally. The carriage arrived at an intersection where a crowd had gathered ahead. Sounds of arguing seemed to come from within. "Boss, these 3 Foundation establishment pills are mixed with so many impurities. They're of such poor quality, and you still have the nerve to sell them to my junior sister." Outside a shop, a young man in light blue robes shouted at 4 or 5 shop assistants, his face angry. "This is fraud against customers." Beside the man stood another man and 3 women. They were also dressed in light blue robes, the standard attire of the Piao sect's outer disciples. These 5 were all outer disciples of the Piao sect. Among them, a slender, pretty female disciple held 3 white pills in her hand, looking aggrievedly at the shop assistants, her eyes slightly red. At the shop entrance, the leading middle-aged shopkeeper smiled politely. "Dear customers, no returns after purchase. The transaction was already completed in the shop. Now you come back after so long to exchange the pills. Who knows if you didn't switch these 3 foundation establishment pills yourselves to extort us? The male disciple who had spoken frowned and fell silent. The pretty female disciple who had bought the pills immediately explained, I didn't switch them, I didn't. These 3 foundation establishment pills were bought from your pharmacy. You cheated me. The female disciple was aggrieved, her fair and beautiful face tinged with redness. She was very upset. She had finally scraped together 3 mid-grade spirit stones to buy 3 foundation establishment pills for her own foundation building. As a result, she had encountered an unscrupulous merchant. These were all her savings. The surrounding male onlookers, seeing the female disciple, was pretty one step forward to help her. These damned unscrupulous merchants. They even cheat beautiful women. Utterly shameless. Don't they see she's a disciple of the Piao sect? Aren't they afraid the Piao sect will make trouble for them? Amid the accusations of the onlookers, the middle-aged shopkeeper smiled calmly. Everyone, please don't rush. This shop has always dealt with integrity. We would never sell defective pills. I think someone must have switched the pills for this young lady. Young lady, I suggest you quickly find the thief who switched the pills. He probably hasn't gotten far. You might catch him and get them back. At these words, not only the 5 outer disciples of the Piao sect, but also the surrounding crowd became furious. This pharmacy was clearly trying to swindle people. The middle-aged manager, seeing that they still wouldn't leave, slightly released the pressure of a core formation cultivator. Immediately, the onlookers and the 5 Piao sect disciples changed. This manager was actually a core formation cultivator. Fighting was prohibited in the city, but those with higher cultivation naturally had more power to argue. The pretty woman's face turned pale. She understood that her 3 mid-grade spirit stones would probably be hard to recover. What's happening? In the carriage, Xiao looked at the crowded people ahead and asked. Lu Danian replied, Uncle Master, a few of our sect's outer disciples are having a transaction dispute with the shop. We don't need to get involved, it should be resolved soon. There were many outer disciples of the Piao sect in Tiger Roar City. Such disputes happened every day. Generally, the sect didn't intervene in minor matters like spirit stones and pills. They were to be resolved on their own, otherwise the sect would be too busy. Xiao nodded. Detected fortune Lady Lin Yenner fortune level C return multiplier 10x bond 1 tip fortune level can increase with acquisition of special opportunities. Oh, the system voice sounded in his ear. Xiao's expression shifted slightly. A Crade Destin Maiden also grants tenfold return on investment. Xiao's eyes lit up as he quickly waved his hand and said, Danian, stop the carriage. Since they are our sect's disciples and we've happened upon them, let's go take a look. Lu Danian immediately nodded and replied, yes, Uncle Master. His Uncle Master's words were absolute law to him. Whatever he said was final. On the other side, the middle-aged steward stood calmly watching the crowd of customers demanding justice, a faint sneer flickering in his eyes. These disciples of the Piao sect were nothing but flowers raised in a greenhouse, naive and easy to deceive. Now that he was in the right, even if a senior from the Piao sect came, they could do nothing to him. Moreover, the Piao sect would normally not bother with such a trivial matter involving a few mid-grade spirit stones. Junior sister, just let it go. Though these 3 foundation establishment pills are of poor quality, they still have some effect. With a bit of luck, you might still establish your foundation. 2 ordinary-looking female disciples beside her tried to comfort her. The shopkeeper clearly had no intention of refunding the money, and there was nothing they could do. The 2 male disciples who had come with them felt embarrassed. Junior sister Lin was their moonlit ideal, and they wanted to stand up for her. But now the shopkeeper not only had the upper hand, but was also a high-level core formation cultivator. They truly dared not escalate the situation. The onlookers gnashed their teeth in frustration. What a shameless profiteer, bringing shame to the entire Tiger Roar City. Ahem, what's going on up ahead? Is someone bullying a disciple of my Piao sect? Just as the crowd was about to disperse, an aged voice came from behind. Then Xiao, clad in a gray robe, walked over with Lu Danian in his blue robe. When the surrounding crowd recognized the 8 trigrams blue robe on Lu Danian, they were all stunned in place. An outer sect elder of the Piao sect. In an instant, excitement surged through the onlookers. That damned profiteer. Now that a senior from the Piao sect had arrived, let's see how arrogant they could be. They were pumped up as if injected with stimulant, their faces flushed, ready to watch the middle-aged shopkeeper's humiliation. And when the 5 disciples discerned Lu Danian's appearance, their faces lit up with joy. Disciple pays respects to Elder Lu. As the outer sect enforcement, Elder Lu Danian was the most visible, and almost all outer disciples knew him. Ahem. Lu Danian did not answer, instead casting a glance at Xiao beside him. The 5 disciples looked again, carefully studying Xiao's face, and felt as if struck by lightning. They fell to their knees and prostrated before Xiao. The delicate, slender female disciple was so moved, she nearly wept, kowtowing and wiping her tears as she said, Disciple Lin Yenner begs Elder Su to seek justice for me. The commotion from the 5 startled everyone around. The white-haired elder was clearly of extraordinary status, far above the Piao sect's outer sect elder. The middle-aged shopkeeper and his clerks at the storefront turned ashen-faced at the sudden appearance of the Piao sect seniors. Panic flickered in the middle-aged shopkeeper's eyes. Could it be such bad luck to have run straight into high-ranking figures of the Piao sect? Rise quickly. Tell me whatever grievance you have. Xiao stepped forward, amiably helping Lin Yin'er and the others up, and smiled approvingly at the girl before him. Lin Yin'er wore a light blue robe, her figure slender and graceful like a willow branch. Her skin was fair as snow, her features delicate as a painting, like a blooming blue lotus exuding a charming youthful aura. Her eyes were clear as water, carrying a touch of intimacy and innocence. Her jet black hair cascaded down her back like a waterfall. She was as pure and moving as the girl next. The destined maiden authenticated by the system. At least in terms of appearance, she was perfectly crafted. Lin Yin'er and the others looked at Xiao filled with excitement and gratitude. They hadn't expected to encounter the renowned Elder Su at such a critical moment. He was virtuous, kind, and friendly, a reputation well known within the sect. One of the male disciples quickly stepped forward, pointing at the unscrupulous shop across the street, and recounted what had happened with some embellishment. With Elder Su backing them, their confidence soared. Even if the Lord of Tiger Roar City came today, they had to get junior sister Lin's spirit stones refunded. The onlookers grew more anticipative, and some even recognized this venerable Piao sect senior. That seems to be the inner sect elder of the Piao sect, Xiao. What? This senior is Xiao himself, the senior brother of the Piao sect's sect leader. It's over, this shop is finished. Bullying someone from the Piao sect, and caught red-handed by inner sect elder senior Su. Xiao finished listening to the male disciple's complaint. He smiled at the middle-aged shopkeeper and his group. Lu Danian cooperatively released a terrifying nascent soul pressure enveloping the shopkeeper and his group. Feeling the sudden, overwhelming pressure with a thud, everyone, including the middle-aged shopkeeper and 4 clerks, collapsed to their knees, their legs giving way. The middle-aged shopkeeper's face turned deathly pale, his previous arrogance completely gone. He had just overheard. This white-haired senior was none other than Piao sect's inner sect elder sect leader's senior brother, Elder Xiao. Senior Su. It's all a misunderstanding. A misunderstanding. Forcing himself to his feet, the shopkeeper rushed before Xiao and Lu Danian, apologizing. Senior Su, there must be a mistake. This young lady's pills were definitely swapped by someone else. My shop had nothing to do with it. He dared not admit it. If he admitted it, and they reported to the city lord's office, his shop would be finished. What rotten luck. Now he only wanted to pay to settle the matter. Xiao said with a smile. Rest assured, the Piao sect is reasonable. If the pills were indeed swapped, I will personally apologize to the shopkeeper on behalf of the Danian. Fetch those 3 foundation establishment pills and examine whether they came from this shop. Lu Danian nodded. Yes, Uncle Master. No need. The middle-aged shopkeeper's face paled, and he quickly said, no need to check. We'll compensate. 3 times the compensation. A nascent soul cultivator had countless ways to trace the origin of the pills. Xiao smiled. Are you sure you don't want us to check? The Piao sect would never take advantage of anyone. Truly no need. The middle-aged shopkeeper wiped his sweat and smiled ingratiatingly. Senior Su, it's an honor for my humble shop that you grace it with your presence. How could I trouble Senior Su with such trivial matters? Senior Su, rest assured, 9 mid-grade spirit stones. My shop will compensate directly on behalf of that thief. Having said that, he took out 9 faintly glowing jade-white spirit stones from his storage pouch. These were mid-grade stones, each worth 10 low-grade. 1 high-grade spirit stone could be exchanged for 10 mid-grade ones. The 9 mid-grade stones were handed directly to Lin Yin'er, who stared blankly, somewhat dazed. Afterward, she looked at Xiao, her beautiful eyes filled with admiration and gratitude. Elder Su was truly too kind. Seeing this, Xiao did not refuse. He smiled at the middle-aged shopkeeper and said, in that case, I thank the shopkeeper. No, this is what we should do. The middle-aged shopkeeper wiped the sweat from his brow, finally relieved. Fortunately, the senior didn't pursue the matter further. The onlookers watching the shopkeeper and his men suffer under Xiao's presence felt immense satisfaction. Some even turned red-faced, secretly wishing they too had such a senior to back. After a few more flattering words from the shopkeeper, Xiao walked over to Lin Yin'er and smiled. Your name is Lin Yin'er. Lin Yin'er started, quickly bowed respectfully. Outer sect disciple Lin Yin'er greets Elder Su. You are at the 9th level of Qi refining, just in need of foundation establishment pills to form your foundation. Xiao slowly took 10 pristine flawless pills from his spatial storage and handed them to her. I have some foundation establishment pills here that I have no use for. You don't need to buy any. Coincidentally, I'll gift them to you. At these words, everyone around was dumbfounded. The 4 companions beside her looked on with intense envy. Even the onlookers stared stupefied at Xiao. So this was Xiao, the inner sect elder of the Piao sect. 10 foundation establishment pills given away as casually as that. This girl was incredibly lucky. Lin Yin'er was gazed upon by her 4 companions with envy. She extended her delicate little hand, trembling slightly, As she took the 10 foundation establishment pills from Su Xiao's hand, her pretty face reddening down to her neck. She was too excited. She could hardly believe her own fortune. Disciple. Disciple. Thank you, Elder Su. Lin Yin'er looked at the 10 foundation establishment pills in her hand, which were noticeably more crystalline and translucent than the previous 3. These must be pills of extremely high quality. Looking at Su Xiao, whose hair and beard were all white and who appeared aged, she recalled the rumors she had heard outside the Misty Peak's outer mountain. This Elder Su was said to have only 1 year left to live. She now felt a complex emotion, as she didn't want such a good senior to pass away like this. System congratulations to the host for successfully gifting 10 foundation establishment pills. First time gifting to Lin Yin'er, triggering a 100-fold critical hit, returning the perfect beauty pill. Perfect beauty pill after consumption, eternal youth, unchanging appearance. Perfect beauty pill. Su Xiao heard the system's voice in his ear, and a glint of light flashed in his eyes. Beauty pills are special pills, one of the most beloved by female cultivators. A perfect quality beauty pill had never appeared in the market. An upper-grade beauty pill could easily sell for hundreds of high-grade spirit stones and still be hard to get. This return was incredibly satisfying. Calming his mind, Su Xiao looked at the Reverend Lin Yin'er and said slowly, "Little friend Lin, with these 10 foundation establishment pills, you should have no problem advancing to the foundation establishment realm. If you encounter difficulties in cultivation, come to me, and I will help you." After saying this, amid the eager and envious gazes of the crowd, Su Xiao led Lu Danian onto the carriage and slowly departed. Fortune's favored maidens were rare. Every one he encountered, he needed to get to know well to facilitate future gifting and returns. This Lin Yin'er was a good target for not harvesting, but a win-win. Disciple respectfully bids farewell to Elder. Lin Yin'er and the others watched the carriage recede, still immersed in the wonder of the encounter. Junior sister, you've struck it rich. 9 middle-grade spirit stones, 10 foundation establishment pills. This is a great opportunity. The 2 female companions beside her were almost drooling with envy. They secretly regretted why didn't they buy some foundation establishment pills just now. If they had been cheated, Elder Su would surely have given them something too. Junior sister Lin. Elder Su just said you can come to him if you have cultivation difficulties. That's an enormous opportunity. The 2 male disciples beside her had flushed faces, their expressions twisted with excitement. This meant that their cherished junior sister had gained Elder Zu's favor. Compared to this, the 10 foundation establishment pills seemed insignificant. Didn't they see Elder Lu acting like a lackey before Elder Su? Even if Elder Su only had 1 year left to live, it was still a heavenly opportunity. Lin Yin'er was still at a loss, flattered by her companion's words. She looked toward the direction where Elder Su had departed, her little heart pounding. She never imagined that such a legendary opportunity would fall upon her. Happy, joyful. Lin Yin'er's pretty face was flushed, and even her breathing became rapid. Elder Su is really too good to me. After the excitement, the 4 companions looked at Lin Yin'er and felt somewhat disappointed. Such a big opportunity, why didn't it fall on me? Heaven is unjust. The surrounding crowd had not yet dispersed. They looked at Lin Yin'er with envious eyes. TSK. This is what it means to be a disciple of a great sect. Opportunities are frighteningly good. I want to become a disciple of the Misty Sect. So handsome. Even old Elder Su is so handsome. I want to bear his children. In my old man's opinion, this girl has gained Elder Zu's favor. She might soar to the skies in the future. Indeed, this thing called opportunity might fall on oneself one day. The crowd was both envious and emotional. A heavenly opportunity. Everyone wished it would happen to them. Outside the city gate, Lu Danian put away the carriage and then stared at Su Xiao with a strange expression. The latter frowned, his white brows furrowing as if understanding something. He lifted his leg and kicked Lu Danian's, but angrily saying, "I told you that your uncle has reasons for giving things. What kind of look is that?" Yes. Uncle has reasons. Don't worry, uncle, I understand." Lu Danian dodged another kick from Su Xiao and laughed foolishly. After these 2 gift-giving incidents, Lu Danian vaguely sensed his uncle's intentions. Amid his foolish laughter, he also felt a silent sorrow. Uncle is truly too lonely, too solitary. This time when he returned, he would quickly inform the sect leader master and have him find a beautiful Tao companion. Even if he only had 1 year left to live, he still wanted his uncle to experience the joy of being a man. If his uncle was too embarrassed to say, he as a disciple must fulfill this filial duty. Summoning his flying sword, Lu Danian respectfully helped Su Xiao onto it. Then the sword shot into the sky, carrying the 2 straight toward the Misty Peak. At the outer mountainside of the Misty Sect, a secluded small courtyard, Su Xiao bid farewell to Lu Danian and sat on a hemp grass cushion in the room. It seems that the first gift to each fortune's favored maiden will consistently trigger a critical hit. He took out the exquisite and beautiful 9 Heavens Divine Phoenix hairpin, which emitted a faint red glow, sensing the immense power contained within, and nodded with satisfaction. A perfect grade magical artifact is essentially the strongest trump card a cultivator can possess. With several such artifacts, even killing someone above one's level would be effortless. They'll keep it for now either for my own use later, or to continue gifting to others. Xiao stored it back into his spatial storage, and then took out that crystalline perfect beauty pill. This was also a rare treasure in the cultivation world, but he probably wouldn't need it now. He didn't know much about beauty pills. If he took it, and it froze him in this aged appearance, that would be a damn disaster. To be safe, it was best to wait for an opportunity to give it away. No female cultivator could resist the temptation of a perfect beauty pill. I can find an opportunity to give it to my junior sister. She is in strength, fortune's favored maiden, who a first gift with another critical hit would be perfect. With his plan set, he put away the beauty pill and prepared for his first cultivation session after the failed tribulation. He was now at the first level of the foundation establishment realm. The realm divisions of this cultivation world are Chi, refining foundation, establishment, core formation, nascent soul, spirit transformation, and void refining, among others. Each major realm has 9 levels, and different realms require different pills to aid cultivation. For example, now that he was in the foundation establishment realm, he needed to take foundation establishment pills to accelerate his cultivation. Of course, ordinary cultivators couldn't afford such pills and had to rely on hard training, which depended purely on talent. But now he still had 190 foundation establishment pills, plenty to use. With the system, cultivation resources were nothing to him. Misty Eternal Life Art. Xiao took a foundation establishment pill and circulated the inner sect technique of the Misty Sect, the Misty Eternal Life Art. This was an extremely powerful technique only cultivable by inner disciples. Ordinary outer disciples could only cultivate the watered-down version, the Misty Art. As soon as the foundation establishment pill entered his stomach, the Misty Eternal Life Art had only completed 1 cycle. The bottleneck within his body broke with a bang. Congratulations to the host realm, upgraded to foundation establishment 2nd level. So fast. Xiao sensed the realm of foundation establishment 2nd layer, a flicker of surprise in his eyes. He surmised that after taking the longevity pills, some of the spiritual energy lost during the previous thunder tribulation had returned. Thus his realm advanced so swiftly. Redoubling his efforts, Xiao continued cultivating on the cushion, while the medicinal power of the foundation establishment pill dissolved rapidly within him. Normally, 1 foundation establishment pill could sustain a cultivator for 3 days of training, but in just 1 night, Xiao had consumed 5 such pills. His realm had directly ascended to foundation establishment 4th layer. After breaking through to foundation establishment 4th layer, his cultivation speed only slightly decelerated. With the experience of having previously cultivated to nascent soul 9th layer, his current speed, bolstered by the foundation establishment pills, had reached an astonishing pace. At dawn the next day, Xiao left the cushion feeling refreshed and clear-minded. Such rapid cultivation was somewhat taxing on the mind. He planned to first stabilize his realm before proceeding more slowly. With 51 years of life remaining, there was no rush. He would take it slow. The spatial storage still held 184 foundation establishment pills, more than enough. The outer mountain hall, the sect plaza. At this moment, a group of outer disciples dressed in blue long robes had already begun breathing and cultivating on the Jade Plaza. This was one of the few places on the entire outer mountain with the densest spiritual energy, a favorite free cultivation spot for the outer disciples. These outer disciples were generally at the chi condensation or foundation establishment stages, none able to fly on swords. Only upon reaching the core formation stage and mastering the sword flight technique could they break free from the earth's bonds and soar through the air. Cultivators at the core formation stage were the backbone of the sect. Once an outer disciple reached core formation, the sect would begin assigning them responsibility. Some exceptionally talented disciples might even be noticed by an inner sect elder recruited into the inner mountain and become inner disciples, the dream of all outer disciples. Among the crowd meditating on the plaza, the graceful and youthful Lin Yenner was also present. With eyes closed, she sat cross-legged, circulating the outer sect technique, the mystic mist. She had already reached chi condensation 9th layer, and was about to go into seclusion to use a foundation establishment pill, aiming to break through to the foundation establishment realm. Even now, she still thrilled at the serendipity of the previous day. From time to time during cultivation, she would open her beautiful eyes and silently marvel at how wonderful their elder Su was. With such a senior in the sect, she felt even more identified with her identity as a disciple of the Misty Spirit sect, and her future seemed ever brighter. Senior brother, did you hear? Yesterday, junior sister Lin was cheated by a dishonest merchant in Tiger Roar City, and she ran into our elder Su. As Lin Yenner meditated, the surrounding disciples glanced at her intentionally or not. Each of their eyes brimmed with envy. Fortune like this was rare, yet Lin Yenner had obtained it. Of course. Oh, junior brother, this matter went viral among us outer disciples last night. How could I not know? Our elder Su is truly a great benefactor, rarely seen in 10,000 years. He was even willing to stand up for us outer disciples. The murmurs gradually spread, and almost every disciple on the plaza gathered in small groups to discuss. I heard that when that dishonest merchant saw Elder Su step in, he was so scared, he almost wet himself. He even knelt and sent 9 mid-grade spirit stones to junior sister Lin to apologize. What a relief. Huh. Our junior sister Lin only spent 3 mid-grade spirit stones, and now she's made 6. Jackpot. You missed the crucial point. Junior sister Lin didn't just gain 6 mid-grade spirit stones. I heard that afterward Elder Su personally gave her 10 top-quality foundation establishment pills. That's the real key. Oh, right. 9 mid-grade spirit stones, 10 foundation establishment pills. Sigh. Why can't I encounter such good fortune? With 10 foundation establishment pills, given junior sister Lin's talent, she might even be able to cultivate straight to foundation establishment second layer. I'm so jealous. Then a few female disciples added. That's nothing. You don't know, Elder Su said before he left, that Lin Yin'er could come to him anytime she encountered difficulties in cultivation. That's her real opportunity. Oh my god. I'm so jealous. How can there be such a good elder? I want to go to Elder Su. I want to be his maidservant. Give it up, this is fortune. If you go to Elder Zu's courtyard now, he might just kick you out. Sigh. Lin Yin'er is just too lucky. These murmurs, some loud and some soft, naturally reached the ears of Lin Yin'er and the 2 senior sisters beside her. One of the senior sisters smiled at Lin Yin'er and said, Junior sister, you've become famous now. Everyone is envying you. The other senior sister urged, Junior sister, since Elder Su said, so why don't you go find him? With his guidance, your foundation establishment is a sure thing. Lin Yin'er's face flushed slightly, and she could no longer sit still. She looked at the 2 senior sisters beside her and said with some embarrassment, Senior sister, that wouldn't be good. Elder Su probably just said it casually, and besides, with Elder Zu's foundation establishment pills, I should be able to reach foundation establishment. The slightly plump senior sister who had urged her said, Junior sister, how can you let go of such a great opportunity? Sigh. Too foolish. The other somewhat slender senior sister's eyes lit up and said, Junior sister, after all, Elder Su helped you so much. He lives right here on the outer mountain. You should still go thank him. Otherwise it would be discourteous. Lin Yin'er heard this, a thoughtful gleam in her eyes. Her senior sister was right. Elder Su had helped her so much, and he happened to be in the outer sect. He had little time left and was all alone. He was already so old and must be very lonely. No matter what, she should personally go to thank him. Having made up her mind, she told her 2 senior sisters, and then returned to her residence. The disciples of the Misty Spirit sect had uniformly arranged rooms with male disciples on one side and female on the other, and most were single rooms. Lin Yin'er returned to her clean, fragrant room, thought for a moment, and brought along a box of crispy cakes her mother from her hometown had prepared for her. Going empty-handed to thank him would be too insincere. These cakes, though not valuable, could express her feelings. A bit nervous, her pretty face flushed slightly. Lin Yin'er, holding the beautifully wrapped box, descended to the mountainside and nervously walked towards Su Xiao's courtyard. Disciple Lin Yin'er, I have come to thank Elder Su. Outside the small courtyard, Lin Yin'er was so nervous that she stammered, having mustered her courage to approach. Su Xiao, reclining on his rocking chair and sipping tea, had already sensed her approach. A glimmer of light flickered in his eyes as he looked at the lovely young woman of 19 or 20, smiling and nodding. She wore a light blue long robe, her figure light and graceful. Her fair, delicate features were youthful and radiant, and her budding figure stood tall and elegant. The whole person was as pure and beautiful as a green lotus in the water. It's you, Lin Yin'er. I remember you. Su Xiao beckoned and said, the gate is unlocked. Come in. As he had expected, the daughter of fortune had come to him of her own accord. Hearing Su Xiao's aged voice, Lin Yin'er's delicate frame trembled. Then with trembling hands, she opened the low courtyard gate and cautiously stepped inside. There were 3 houses within the courtyard. Elder Su, clad in a gray robe, was seated in an armchair beside a wooden table in the yard, smiling kindly at her with an air of warmth and familiarity. Lin Yin'er quickly stepped forward, holding up the box of exquisite pastries with both hands, and knelt on one knee, stammering, Elder. This disciple has come to thank the elder for yesterday's kindness. These are famous pastries from my hometown, brought to express my gratitude. Her body stiffened with tension, her head bowed, hardly daring to meet Su Xiao's eyes. The disparity in status between them within the Piao sect was vast. He was a revered inner sect elder and the sect leader's senior brother, and she was merely an obscure outer sect disciple. She feared that her visit might seem presumptuous to Elder Su and that he might disdain her humble gift of he rise and place it on the table. Su Xiao stopped rocking, straightened his aged body, and pointed to the wooden table beside him. Upon hearing this, Lin Yin'er hastened forward and respectfully set the pastries on the table. The pastries were packed in a red lacquer box embossed with golden patterns, clearly not something ordinary folk could afford. Sit down, little friend Lin, no need to be so formal. Seeing her nervousness, Su Xiao smiled reassuringly and said, just think of me as an ordinary old man nearing the end of his days. Lin Yin'er was flattered and hastily replied, "No, no. Elder Su, you will certainly live for many more years." After speaking, she regretted it, as it seemed to touch upon a sensitive topic. She dared not sit beside Elder Su. His aura was too overwhelming. Now she was extremely flustered and wanted to leave quickly. "Elder Su, I shall not disturb Elder Zu's rest any longer. Elder Su, this disciple will take her leave." Flustered and incoherent, Lin Yin'er stood beside Su Xiao like a frightened kitten. Upon hearing this, Su Xiao's white brows twitched slightly. Leave? He couldn't let her go just like that. He needed a reason to continue giving her gifts. His aged eyes shifted slightly as he chuckled. "Don't rush, little friend Lin. Do you currently have a master in the outer sect?" Lin Yin'er blinked her limpid eyes and shook her head. "No. Elder, this disciple is only at the 9th layer of Qi refining and has not yet reached foundation establishment." Su Xiao nodded. Outer sect disciples below foundation establishment were managed uniformly, with outer sect elders taking turns to preach in the main hall. Only upon reaching foundation establishment could one be taken as a disciple by an outer sect elder and receive focused training. Su Xiao smiled. "Little friend Lin, I see you have good talent. With 10 foundation establishment pills, you should be able to reach foundation establishment. Yesterday's meeting with little friend Lin was a stroke of fate. If you encounter any difficulties within the sect in the future, do not hesitate to come to me." Lin Yin'er's heart nearly leaped out of her chest with excitement. Elder Su had said this again. The first time might have been a casual remark, but the second time, he truly seemed to intend to help. Overjoyed, Lin Yin'er immediately knelt before Su Xiao cowed out and said sincerely, "Disciple. Thanks the elder." "Thanks the elder." Su Xiao waved his hand. "It's nothing. As I said, you and I share a bond. Little friend Lin, could you do me a favor?" Lin Yin'er rose, her face flushed, and said, "Elder, please speak freely. As long as I can do it, I will help with anything." Her gaze was firm, filled with determination. She now understood that forming a connection with Elder Su was the greatest turning point and the greatest fortune in her cultivation journey. Su Xiao sighed with a smile. "I'm getting old and my shoulders are always a bit sore. Little friend Lin, could you massage my shoulders? These old bones are getting stiff." Lin Yin'er was taken aback. This was too simple. Just a shoulder massage. "No problem." Lin Yin'er quickly replied. She took a deep breath, rolled up her sleeves a few inches, revealing her fair and slender hands. Then with a waft of fragrant breeze, she walked behind Su Xiao's rocking chair and began gently massaging his shoulders. "Elder Su, just tell me if the pressure is too much or too little." Lin Yin'er was very serious and gentle, afraid that she might press too hard and cause him discomfort. Feeling the gentle motions on his shoulders, Su Xiao nodded with satisfaction. "About right like this, yes." "Continue." A look of enjoyment spreading across his face, Su Xiao let out a soft sigh. This girl did have some talent for massage. Seeing the slight relaxation on the elder's aged face, Lin Yin'er felt indescribable joy. Since Elder Su had helped her so much, she wanted to do something for him. Besides, as an old man living in solitude, she wanted to keep him company more often. While receiving the massage, Su Xiao opened the box on the table, took out a piece of pastry, and took 2 bites. "Delicious, little friend Lin. This pastry is really good. Much better than the pastries in the cafeteria." Hearing this, Lin Yin'er became even happier, her face beaming. "If Elder Su likes it, I'll ask my mother to send more so that you can enjoy it often." Su Xiao nodded with a smile, drinking tea, eating pastries, and enjoying the massage. This way of spending his old age seemed quite agreeable. Time passed minute by minute, and Lin Yin'er massaged him tirelessly, seemingly unaware of any fatigue. When noon approached, Su Xiao finally called a halt. "Little friend Lin, that's enough." "Thank you." Lin Yin'er quickly stepped aside and said, "No. Elder Su has done me a great kindness. This is nothing. If Elder Su likes it, he'll come every day to massage you." He coming every day won't be necessary. Wait until you reach foundation establishment first." Su Xiao stood up, his aged frame still quite upright. Looking at the beautiful and youthful Lin Yin'er before him, he smiled. "Do you have any protective magic artifacts now?" Lin Yin'er was startled. "No, I don't have enough spirit stones." Hearing this, Su Xiao smiled and produced 3 low-grade magic artifacts from his spatial storage. A jade hairpin, a ring, and a magic sword. These were the artifacts he had selected earlier at the Zilai trading house. He had chosen such styles to conveniently gift to a blessed maiden. "Little friend Lin, you've massaged me for so long, I must thank you. This jade hairpin is a low-grade offensive artifact, this ring is a low-grade defensive artifact, and this magic sword is also low-grade." Su Xiao looked at the stunned Lin Yin'er and smiled. "I have no use for these artifacts anymore. You and I share a bond, and you've helped me, so take them for your own protection." Upon hearing this, Lin Yin'er's eyes widened. She was so startled, she nearly turned to stone. 3 low-grade artifacts. That was the equivalent of 3 high-grade spirit stones. This was too precious. Elder Su was giving them to her. Su Xiao took her hand and placed the artifacts in her palm, smiling. "Don't be polite. To me it's nothing. Little friend Lin, with these 3 artifacts, no one in the outer sect will be able to bully you." Lin Yin'er looked at the artifacts in her hands, then at Su Xiao's aged, wrinkled face. Her eyes reddened and tears began to fall one by one. Kneeling, she wept and bowed in gratitude. Disciple, thanks the elder for his great kindness. Elder, if you ever have any commands, this disciple will spare no effort, even at the cost of death. Shock gradually turned into joy. Lin Yin'er knew she had met a great benefactor. Congratulations to the host for successfully gifting 3 low-grade artifacts. Returned medium-grade artifacts: Jadeite, Gold Hairpin, Mystic Light, Ring, Meteor Sword. 3 medium-grade artifacts have been deposited into the spatial storage. Su Xiao heard the system notification beside him and nodded inwardly with a smile. This was likely a standard tenfold return without triggering a critical strike. A medium-grade artifact was roughly equivalent in value to 10 low-grade artifacts. Although there was no critical strike, it was still a steady profit. Not bad. Tears of gratitude welled up in Lin Yin'er's eyes as she sincerely bid farewell to Su Xiao and respectfully withdrew from the courtyard. Gazing at the 3 faintly glowing artifacts in her hands, a turbulent mix of emotions churned within her heart. Elder Su had been so kind to her. From now on, she vowed to repay his benevolence, willing to do anything for him no matter the cost. As she traversed the narrow path through the courtyard and reached the main mountain road, she noticed her 2 senior sisters waiting at the junction as if they had been there for some time. Senior sister, you? Why are you here? Lin Yin'er asked, surprise flickering in her eyes. The slightly plump senior sister smiled and said, Junior sister, we just came to see how you were doing at Elder Zu's courtyard. How did it go? Elder Su must have been kind, right? Did he offer you any guidance? The slender senior sister also looked at Lin Yin'er with eager anticipation. No guidance at all. Lin Yin'er blinked her beautiful eyes. No guidance. Impossible. Junior sister, you spent the whole morning at Elder Zu's place. He must have taught you something, right? The slightly plump senior sister still found it hard to believe. Lin Yin'er replied, truly nothing. Elder Zu's shoulders were sore, so I just massaged them for him. What? Massaging his shoulders? The 2 senior sisters were stunned, then their eyes lit up. This is a good thing. It means Elder Su has a favorable impression of you. He sees great potential in you. The slightly plump woman chuckled. Don't worry, even if he didn't guide you this time, next time he surely will. The 2 senior sisters were thrilled. If Lin Yin'er built a good relationship with Elder Su as her close companions, they too would surely benefit in the future. Even if we can't feast on the meat, we can still drink the soup. Hey junior sister, why are you holding so many artifacts? The slender senior sister exclaimed in surprise. These are 3 low-grade artifacts. Junior sister, where did you get these? Lin Yin'er blinked, recalling Elder Zu's warm smile, and said joyfully, Elder Su gave them to me, as payment for massaging his shoulders. Thunderstruck, the 2 senior sisters felt as if struck by lightning, frozen in disbelief for a long while. A morning of shoulder massage in exchange for 3 low-grade artifacts. This defied all logic. No, the sisters' hearts screamed in protest. Why wasn't it them? Even the 2 of them combined didn't own a single artifact. Inside the small courtyard, Su Xiao had returned to his rocking chair. Of the 8 pastries on the table, only 3 remained after the massage session. Little friend Lin's pastries are quite delicious. Su Xiao picked up another one, savoring it with tea. The pastries seemed filled with a blend of 100 flowers, leaving a lingering fragrance. Sigh. 3 mid-grade artifacts can wait. There's no rush to give them out. He already had a plan. For disciples at the Qi refining and foundation establishment stages, low-grade artifacts were sufficient. Mid-grade artifacts were best suited for cultivators above the golden core stage, as the returns would be greater. According to the system, gifts must be reasonable and not given recklessly. He checked his spatial storage: 16 low-grade artifacts remaining, 184 foundation establishment pills, 50 high-grade spirit stones, and 20 golden core pills for core formation cultivators. Plenty of resources, and no need to rush in giving them away. That Lin Yin'er had decent talent. Once she reached foundation establishment, he could bestow another wave of gifts. The next morning, the sect square erupted in chaos. Lin Yin'er was absent, secluding herself in her room to break through to the foundation establishment stage. Thousands of outer disciples in the square had lost all focus on meditation. They clustered in groups, discussing yesterday's events involving Lin Yin'er. By the heavens! Have you all heard? It's madness. Pure madness. Oh, my supreme celestial emperor. 3 artifacts. Elder Su gave junior sister Lin 3 low-grade artifacts yesterday. Some disciples in the square were utterly distraught. Even though they were low-grade, each was worth a high-grade spirit stone. Giving them away so casually was beyond comprehension. Do you know why Elder Su gave her those artifacts? Just because she massaged his shoulders for half a day. That's it. Madness, utter madness. Half a day of shoulder rubbing for 3 low-grade artifacts. This world has gone insane. I've toiled on sect missions for years just to afford 1 low-grade artifact, and she gets 3 for a shoulder rub. I can't accept this. I'm going to end myself. Oh, Some calmer disciples began analyzing the situation. Don't panic. There's still hope. Listen to my reasoning. Elder Su is nearing the end of his lifespan. With 1,000 years of accumulation, he must have plenty of treasures left. Elder Su has no spouse, no descendants, and no disciples. That means his legacy has no heir. That's why he's so generous. This analysis drew the attention of everyone nearby. The speaker continued, Junior Sister Lin was just lucky enough to catch his fancy. There's nothing special about her. We should act now and try our luck at Elder Zu's place. If he's in a good mood, he might toss out a pile of artifacts and pills, and would all be set. After this analysis, everyone's eyes gleamed with excitement. It made perfect sense. Who else would inherit Elder Zu's belongings if not them? Was he supposed to take them to his grave? Elder Su, I'm coming. I want to be your foster son. No, your foster grandson. Me too. I'd even be willing to pour tea, fetch water, wash his feet, and make his bed. As long as he's happy and bestows a single pill, he'll be content. Count me in. If Elder Su gifts me an artifact, he'll even warm his bed. Junior sister. Look at your squashed face. Even I wouldn't want that. Get lost, you. The crowd was lively, but only a few truly dared to descend to Su Xiao's courtyard. They were willing to swallow their pride. Cultivation resources on Panlong continent were scarce and precious, vital for a cultivator's path. They were even more important than mere money. If there was a way cultivators would risk life and limb, let alone endure humiliation, many female cultivators with some beauty exchanged their bodies for resources. Disciples pay respects to Elder Su. A chorus of voices echoed from outside. Su Xiao, puzzled, wondered what was happening now. Why were so many outer disciples coming to his place? Su Xiao rose and walked to the courtyard entrance. Gazing at the densely kneeling crowd before him, his white brows furrowed slightly. A bold outer disciple said, Elder Su, you live alone on the outer mountain. Sweeping the yard must be inconvenient. It's no trouble. Since Elder Su has come to the outer mountain, how can we disciples stand by idly? Leave the sweeping to me. Without waiting for Su Xiao to respond, he took a broom from his storage pouch and charged into the courtyard, beginning to sweep frantically. His earnest effort and devout demeanor left Su Xiao stunned. When the surrounding disciples saw the sweeping task snatched away, they all became restless. Elder Su, senior brother Xiao is too tired sweeping alone. Let me help. Elder Su, there's a hornet's nest by your yard. Those are venomous bees. Leave it to me, leave it to me. Elder Su, several big trees have fallen behind your yard. It looks a bit unsightly. No worries, he'll reattach them exactly as they were before they were cut. Watching the quick-witted disciples all find tasks and stay to work, the rest brainstormed. Elder Su, these rooms might leak when it rains. Let me inspect. And this fence isn't secure. Leave it to me. Elder Su, let me sweep your room. He'll polish the floorboards. He'll unclog the toilet. Watching outer disciples find all sorts of bizarre tasks, Su Xiao blinked, still somewhat bewildered. What's going on? Not one to strike a smiling face, he didn't scold them. After a moment's thought, he suddenly understood. Right word must have spread about my giving gifts to Lin Yenner. Su Xiao shook his head with a smile. These disciples were certainly jealous of Lin Yenner and wanted to gain favors from him. None of them focus on their proper duties, just chasing shortcuts. He returned to his rocking chair, saying nothing, and watched with amusement as dozens of outer disciples worked for him. Giving gifts was out of the question. Would he do something with no benefit? In a while, when their enthusiasm faded, they would leave on their own. No matter. Just as he was rocking and sipping tea, the system's voice sounded in his ear. Detected fortune maiden Jean Liuxiang, fortune level C, return multiplier 10x, bond level 1. Oh. There's a fortune maiden among them. Su Xiao's aged eyes snapped open and he looked in the direction the system indicated. At once a woman in a light blue robe came into view. She was a beautiful young woman watering the potted plants in a corner of the yard. Her eyes occasionally darted towards Su Xiao. Clearly she too was trying her luck. Su Xiao's eyes brightened slightly. He said nothing, closed his eyes, and silently observed the woman with his spiritual sense. With too many people around now, it wasn't the right time. He would wait until the crowd thinned before finding a chance to give her a gift. Elder Su seemed to be looking at me just now. Jean Luxiang's heart began to race as she watered. Her beautiful large eyes sparkled with excitement. She sensed that her speculation might be correct. Ever since news of Elder Su giving Lin Yenner a gift spread among the outer disciples, she had been analyzing why Elder Su acted that way. From that particular look in his eyes, just now she felt it. Elder Su was likely an old man, lonely in his age, with intentions toward beautiful female cultivators. Jean Liuxiang was not one of those naive and innocent female disciples, as she had cultivated step by step to the foundation establishment second layer. It was all due to her sharp mind and understanding of male nature. Although she had never been intimate with any man, she could manipulate the fellow disciples around her to gain cultivation. Reaching the foundation establishment second layer depended first on her outstanding appearance and second on her control over men. That's it. Jean Liuxiang felt secretly thrilled. An old man is still a man, as long as he's a man it's impossible for him not to like us beautiful female cultivators. With confidence, she glanced at the fawning disciples around and silently mocked them. A bunch of fools. They don't even know what Elder Su really wants, yet they waste their efforts. Even those with squash-like faces came. No self-awareness at all. Time slowly passed, and Jean Liuxiang continued watering little by little. She wasn't in a hurry, and as long as Elder Su didn't drive her away, she had her ways to handle a man like him. By then those who had been sweeping had cleaned the yard 3 times and had nothing left to sweep. Seeing Su Xiao sitting unmoved on the rocking chair, they sighed deeply and reluctantly took their leave. What could they do? They couldn't keep working in Elder Zu's courtyard forever, could they? Alas, it seems this opportunity isn't so easy to obtain. The sweepers left first, and the rest also lost confidence, coming one by one to bid Su. He smiled and bid them farewell. After all they had done work, he would send them off with a smile. By afternoon, only one person remained in the yard, Jean Liuxiang. Elder Su, I've finished watering the flowers. I shall take my leave now. Jean Liuxiang walked gracefully to Su Xiao and bid a gentle farewell. Her eyes held a trace of anticipation as she secretly watched the old man. Su Xiao then rose and looked at the woman before him. The sect robe clung to her body, perfectly outlining her exquisite curves. Her features were enchanting, her skin snow-white and flawless. Her figure was stunning, the robe barely containing her chest. Her flat belly showed no trace of fat, and she had a willow-slim waist. Her alluring eyes shimmered with light, full of tenderness and affection. What a seductive little vixen. Su Xiao let out a soft sigh and smiled at the woman. Little friend, what is your name? Hearing this, Jean Liuxiang's expression brightened. Asking for her name, she was the first. She looked at Su Xiao with burning eyes and said, seeming a bit shy, disciple Jean Liuxiang. Su Xiao nodded and asked, what cultivation realm are you at now? Foundation establishment, 2nd layer. Do you have a master? Yes, my master is Enforcement Team Officer Zhou Xiao. Su Xiao hummed in acknowledgement. The Enforcement Team. That meant one of Lu Danian's subordinates. A crave fortune made in only around 20 years old, yet already at the Foundation establishment realm. She was also a talented disciple. The system's chosen ones were indeed never wrong, and all of them were beauties. Ha! Su Xiao chuckled. I've troubled you today, little friend Jean, watering the plants in my small courtyard. I feel we are fated to meet. Here are 10 Foundation establishment pills. I'm old and have no use for them. I give them to you as a token of thanks. With that, he took out 10 pristine Foundation establishment pills from his spatial pouch and handed them to Jean Liuxiang. Staring at the 10 pills in her hand, her eyes flew wide, filled with surprise and delight. She immediately knelt and expressed her gratitude. Disciple, thanks Elder Su. At the same time, the outer disciples who hadn't left yet and were watching from a distance and hiding were all he gave. Elder Su actually gave something. Those disciples lurking in the distance were the ones who refused to resign themselves to fate. They simply wanted to see whether Elder Su would truly hand out gifts. To their surprise, he actually, and it was the very last disciple who stayed behind. A wave of extreme regret washed over them now. Could it be that they hadn't worked long enough? How infuriating. If only they hadn't left. Back in the side courtyard, Su Xiao watched Jean Liuxiang kneel before him in gratitude as the system's voice echoed in his ears. Congratulations to the host for successfully gifting 10 Foundation establishment pills. This is the first time gifting to Jean Liuxiang triggering a 100-fold return. You have received a Supreme Longevity Pill. Supreme Longevity Pill increases lifespan by 300 years upon consumption. 300 years of life. Su Xiao's heart leaped with joy. This was exactly what he needed. His current lifespan was a mere 51 years, and it would remain unchanged until he reached the 9th level of the nascent soul stage. Only by enduring the Thunder Tribulation once more and breaking through to the Divine Transformation stage would his lifespan ceiling increase from 1,000 years to 3,000. Only then would he truly be reborn at full strength, returning to his peak. His youthful appearance would be restored, and he would once again possess that breathtaking handsomeness of old. Indeed, 300 years of life. With the system in place, reaching the Divine Transformation stage would be effortless and simple. Su Xiao looked at Jean Liuxiang with a pleased expression and stepped forward to help her up. No need for such formalities, young friend Jean. You and I are fated to meet. If you ever encounter any difficulties in cultivation, come to me, and I will assist you. Jean Liuxiang's beautiful eyes flickered with a faint light. She looked at the kindly smiling old man before her and chuckled inwardly. Elder Su was indeed an old man in his twilight years, longing for a woman. As Su Xiao helped her up, she rolled her eyes and suddenly lurched forward. She seemed to lose her footing and fell into Su Xiao's arms. Su Xiao was startled. Oh my, Elder Su. I'm sorry, I just twisted my ankle. Jean Liuxiang steadied herself against Su Xiao's body before gratefully stepping away. But now she was absolutely certain. Elder Su was exactly as she had suspected. Haha, no harm done. Su Xiao said with a calm smile. Young friend Jean, do be careful. If you ever face difficulties, come to me. Jin Liuxiang then bowed respectfully and said, Disciple, thanks the elder for his kindness. For Elder Zhus' great favor, I shall never decline any command in the future. After expressing her gratitude a few more times, Jin Liuxiang left with confidence. Her heart was filled with excitement. Those senior and junior brothers, and even her master Zhou Xiao were nothing compared to Elder Su. As long as she curried favor with Elder Su in the days ahead, her path of cultivation would be completely secured. Joy and elation filled her heart. On her way back, Jin Liuxiang had already begun planning her future strategy. Meanwhile, the scene in the small courtyard left the peeping onlookers utterly stunned. What had just happened? That sly woman Jin Liuxiang had actually thrown herself into Elder Zhus' arms. And Elder Su didn't even resist. Good heavens! What had they witnessed? At that moment, the dozen or so disciples who had lingered in the distance felt as if their minds had been dealt a tremendous blow. Could Jin Liuxiang be planning to use her beauty to siphon off Elder Zhus' resources? Elder Su, you must not be fooled by that cunning woman. Back in the side courtyard, Su Xiao returned to his meditation cushion and smiled faintly. Jin Liuxiang was a woman with some scheming. But that was fine. As long as she was a fortune's daughter, he would welcome her. They were all targets for his mutual benefit, every single one of them. In the future, achieving the path of immortality would rely on the returns from these fortune's daughters. He took out the sparkling Supreme Longevity pill from his spatial storage and examined. Once a pill reached the supreme grade, its value became astronomical. The longevity pill that Ji Shui had given him was probably at most mid-grade, extending life by only 50 years, while this supreme grade 1 granted 300 years. Without further thought, Su Xiao swallowed the longevity pill in one gulp, deciding not to give it away. Instantly, a vast surge of vitality erupted within his body. This vitality began from his internal organs and gradually spread throughout his entire being. In the end, his whole body seemed to brim with vigor, as if he had returned to it. Not only did his withered skin and aged appearance improve slightly, wrinkles becoming shallower, but his internal organs and tendons were also deeply repaired by this supreme longevity pill. He was no weaker than an ordinary young man, and in some aspects he far surpassed them. This filled him with satisfaction. Not bad at all, Su Xiao said with a smile and a nod. Name Su Xiao, age 1008 years, Realm Foundation Establishment, 4th level, Special Constitution, none, remaining lifespan 301 years. It seems longevity pills cannot be reused. Su Xiao looked at his remaining lifespan. It appeared that the Supreme Longevity Pill had overwritten the effect of the previous one. Afterward, he sat on the cushion and began cultivating the Misty Longevity art. Cultivation requires balance between tension and relaxation to endure long and far. The next day, word spread like wildfire not only in the sect square, but also in the male and female dormitories. Someone had leaked the news that Su Xiao had given Jin Liuxiang 10 Foundation Establishment pills, and now the entire outer sect was buzzing with discussion about this extraordinary event. Elder Su gave away something again yesterday. 10 Foundation Establishment pills. 10 Foundation Establishment pills. That Jin Liuxiang just went to Elder Zhus' courtyard to water the plants, and when she left, Elder Su gave her 10 Foundation Establishment pills. He's lost his mind. Elder Su has completely lost his mind. In the dormitory area, a crowd of disciples gathered. First it was Lin Yenner and now Jin Liuxiang. Have you noticed a pattern? Elder Su only gives gifts to the recognized beauties of our outer mountain. What? What do you mean? I won't allow you to slander Elder Su like that. No. Don't misunderstand. Elder Su is virtuous and noble naturally. He wouldn't be that kind of person. I just mean that beautiful women might catch Elder Zhus' attention more easily. After all, Elder Su is also a man. Are you asking for death? Elder Su is so old. Do you think he still has such thoughts? I don't believe it. There must be another reason. All right. Jin Liuxiang was the last to leave the courtyard, so Elder Su must have seen her perseverance. Exactly. That's it. Elder Su is such a good person. He was definitely testing us, and only Jin Liuxiang passed the test. Instantly, Su Xiao's lofty and solemn image was once again solidified. The crowd in the residential area murmured incessantly, but their words were mostly rebukes against Jin Liuxiang. They said that this woman had taken the benefits yet refused to stop, and even attempted to seduce Elder Su to obtain more. However, Elder Su, being a man of profound righteousness and noble integrity, directly rejected her. As for the opportunities from Elder Su after this incident, all the disciples understood that they were not so easily obtained. Thus they had to bide their time. In a fragrant and exquisite room within the female cultivator's quarters, Jin Liuxiang gazed at the 10 Foundation Establishment pills in her hand, feeling increasingly dissatisfied. Lin Yenner stayed in Elder Zhus' courtyard for half a day and obtained 3 low-grade magic artifacts. I stayed for half a day, but only got 10 Foundation Establishment pills. Is something amiss? Jin Liuxiang gradually began to speculate in that direction. Shoulder massage. Lin Yenner, I see you've also discerned Elder Zhus' needs. You must have given yourself to him during that half. Her beautiful eyes shimmered with sharp light, and she roughly guessed the truth. 3 low-grade magic artifacts were an astronomical figure for these outer disciples. Elder Su would never part with them so easily. Lin Yinner must have done something during that half day. Even if she didn't give herself directly, she must have offered Elder Su sufficient benefits. Understanding this, Jean Luxiang's heart grew increasingly bitter. In terms of appearance, she felt she was no less than Lin Yinner. In terms of cultivation, she was even several levels higher. What the other could obtain, why couldn't she? With this realization, a resolute look appeared in her eyes. She had managed to become a disciple under Zhou Xiao at the Foundation Establishment 2nd level only, because Zhou Xiao was a lecher who had taken a fancy to her appearance. But she was meticulous in her thoughts and had never allowed Zhou Xiao to succeed. However, yielding herself was only a matter of time. She was now fully aware of these unspoken rules within the sect. Now that she had made acquaintance with Elder Su, compared to him, Zhou Xiao was nothing. Elder Su. If I serve him well in his old age, perhaps all his legacy will be mine. Jean Luxiang's eyes blazed with determination. What was a mere appearance? Tangible benefits were what truly mattered to her. She also wished to go further on the path of cultivation and become a woman above others. Elder Su might be old, but she could accept that. Having made up her mind, she sat before her dressing table and began to adorn herself. That very night, she was determined to completely secure Elder Su, making him shower her with more resources. Lin Yinner was now in seclusion, presenting a golden opportunity for advancement. In the afternoon, Su Xiao had been cultivating on his meditation cushion for an entire day. The absorption rate of the Foundation Establishment pills had slowed. He had only assimilated 2 of them. His cultivation had reached the 5th level of Foundation Establishment. Although this speed was slower than the previous days compared to others, it was like riding a rocket. Letting out a light breath, Su Xiao ceased his cultivation practice and prepared to rest his mind before continuing. His heart was filled with joy. With such a pace, returning to his peak would be a matter of time. Now his spatial warehouse contained both magical treasures and supreme-grade artifacts. He had no worries about his combat strength. Even if a nascent soul-stage cultivator came, he could retreat unscathed or even counterkill them. In fact, just the Nanming Lihua sword alone brought his strength close to that of his prime. Disciple comes to pay respects to Elder Su. Several female voices sounded from outside the door. Su Xiao's expression shifted, and he rose to open the door from within the room. Outside stood 5 or 6 female disciples, all clad in light blue robes, indicating they were outer disciples. What are you doing here? The system did not detect any daughters of fortune. These were just ordinary female disciples. Among them, a plain-faced woman with a squashed melon-like visage swallowed nervously. Summoning her courage, she knelt and boldly said, Elder Su, you must be living alone here quite inconveniently. This disciple wishes to serve you, to pour tea and water for you, and I can also cook. Please do not reject me, Elder Su. Seeing someone take the lead, a big-faced female disciple beside her knelt and said, Me too. Me too. Elder Su, let me be your maidservant. I will serve you well. The remaining ones all knelt down, each vying to become Su Xiao's maidservant. Some even said they were willing to do anything. They had all come after hearing the rumors about Lin Yinner and Jean Luxiang. After discussing among themselves, they decided to try their luck with Su Xiao. What if the elder took a liking to them? That would be a meteoric rise. Su Xiao swallowed hard. Looking at these 5 or 6 women, he silently shook his head. What a motley crew. Squashed faces and big faces all showed up. There were 1 or 2 passable ones, but they were not daughters of fortune. He understood their intentions clearly, but as a venerable inner elder, how could he accept inner disciples as maidservants? If word got out, it would tarnish his reputation. Dear young friends, I am perfectly fine on my own, so there is no need to trouble yourselves. Su Xiao declined politely. Please return quickly. If others see this, they might think I am taking advantage of my seniority to pressure you. Haha. His tone was kind and gentle, carrying a strong sense of elder authority. Without any gifts given in return, these people had nothing to do with him. The 5 or 6 female cultivators exchanged bewildered glances, their eyes filled with deep disappointment. Indeed, how could a venerable senior like Elder Su randomly distribute resources? Those damn brats dared to spread rumors about Elder Su. They deserved to die? Causing them to make a wasted trip? How infuriating. Not daring to offend Su Xiao further, the 5 or 6 women bowed, and then awkwardly left the courtyard, heading outside. As they reached the mountain path intersection, a woman in a light blue long gown, Jean Luxiang, approached. Upon seeing Jean Luxiang, these women instantly flashed a sneer in their eyes. So she came too. No need to guess. She must have had the same idea. Let's see how Elder Su drives her out. Jean Luxiang, catching sight of their expressions, guessed the situation easily. Hee. She strode confidently toward the small courtyard path. Hey, what's so proud about this woman? Elder Su doesn't fall for that. He'll just wait and see how she comes out looking disgraced. The melon-faced woman was instantly displeased. If not for the others holding her back, she would have gone up and cursed the other woman out. Wait. Well, wait right here. I want to see her expression when she gets kicked out. Inside the small courtyard cottage, Jean Liuxiang, invited by Su Xiao, entered the house. Looking at Jean Liuxiang, who had specially dressed up alluring and charming, Su Xiao smiled kindly. He was just thinking of an excuse to give her something. Jean Liuxiang had come under the pretext of thanking him for the 10 foundation establishment pills. Taking a deep breath, her face slightly flushed, she gathered her courage and said, Elder Su, I take the liberty of coming to discuss a matter with you. Oh, Su Xiao glanced at her. He hadn't even spoken yet, and she was the first to bring something up. A matter. Little friend Jean, what do you wish to say? Su Xiao sat by the bed smiling slightly. From her expression, he could roughly guess what was coming. Seeing that Su Xiao seemed somewhat interested, Jean Liuxiang gradually gained confidence. Elder Su, please do not take offense. You are already in your twilight years, and your tribulation failed. In the path of cultivation, it seems there is no turning back. Jean Liuxiang boldly said, I have heard that you have only a year left to live. This disciple is willing to serve as your maidservant, attending to you until you pass away. This? Su Xiao frowned slightly, beginning to ponder. Serving as a maidservant was not unacceptable. That meant he could give her something in return without needing any special reason. Moreover, she was indeed quite beautiful. His eyes brightened. Based on this, Su Xiao chuckled lightly and said, Are you truly willing? She chuckled softly and replied, This disciple is willing. Jean Liuxiang had her own calculations. He had only 1 year left to live, so she would not have to serve for long. By then, she would not only obtain a large amount of cultivation resources, but might even become a disciple of Elder Su, directly entering the inner sect. In that case, so be it. Su Xiao smiled. Little friend Jean, rest assured. As my maidservant, you need not worry about cultivation resources. I will help. Thank you, Elder. Jean Liuxiang rejoiced, her beautiful eyes glistening. She would no longer have to fret over future cultivation resources. Looking at Su Xiao, she revealed a triumphant joy in her eyes. But he had lived for 1,000 years and was undoubtedly a shrewd old fox. She needed to show sincerity first. Moreover, he had already given her 10 precious foundation establishment pills. Her charming face flushed red, and she stepped forward boldly, her alluring figure held high. Congratulations, host. The bond level with the favored daughter of fortune, Jean Liuxiang, has increased to 2. Favored daughter of fortune, Jean Liuxiang. Fortune level C, return multiplier 20 times bond level 2. The next morning, the two of them dressed. So this is how you raise it to level 2. The room was filled with the lingering fragrance of intimacy. Su Xiao walked to the table and sat down. Smiling, he asked, Little friend Jean, do you have any magical artifacts on you? Jean Liuxiang, whose cheeks were still flushed, brightened. I have a low-grade magical sword, a gift from my master. She spoke shyly, sitting awkwardly by the bed. Hearing this, Su Xiao smiled slightly and took out from his spatial storage a middle-grade magical artifact, the jade gold hairpin, and a low-grade defensive magic ring. He also produced 10 high-grade spirit stones. Placing them on the nearby table, he said, a middle-grade artifact, a low-grade artifact, and 10 high-grade spirit stones. Little friend Jean, I believe these are the limit of what you can use for now. Keep them for your protection. A mid-grade artifact. 10 high-grade spirit stones. Jean Liuxiang was astounded. Gazing at the jade-green hairpin radiating faint luster upon the table, her heart surged with excitement. Her breath quickened. And 10 high-grade spirit stones. That was equivalent to 100 mid-grade ones. Flushed with warmth, Jean Liuxiang's countenance glowed with delight. She swept the items on the table into her storage pouch. Elder Su, thank you so much. From now on, I'll come by every few days to attend to you. Jean Liuxiang was overjoyed. She embraced Su Xiao excitedly. A fragrant breeze stirred. In her heart, she felt even more contempt for her master Zhou Xiao. When she had pledged herself to his tutelage, all he had given her was a single low-grade sword. But Elder Su, how generous, how magnanimous. Su Xiao chuckled. It's nothing really. As I said, little friend Jean and I share a destined bond. Even if you didn't wish to serve an old man like me, I would still have bestowed these gifts. With such sincerity from her, he naturally couldn't treat her poorly. He had said it before. This was a win-win. Congratulations, host, for successfully gifting the mid-grade artifact Bu Jinshai. First-time bond enhancement triggered, 1,000-fold critical return. Supreme artifact Sihai Xingping pendant returned. Sihai Xingping pendant, a supreme artifact. Upon use, it releases the 4C's weak water to corrode enemies, offering both offense and defense. Congratulations, host, for successfully gifting a low-grade ring. 2 mid-grade ring artifacts returned. Congratulations, host, for successfully gifting 10 high-grade spirit stones. 200 high-grade spirit stones returned. The return was successful and a 1,000-fold critical had been triggered. Su Xiao nodded with satisfaction. After a moment of warmth, Jean Liuxiang's cheeks, flushed respectfully, withdrew from the room. Quite bold, huh? Dismissing the thought, Su Xiao began organizing his spatial storage. After this round of returns, the contents of his storage had multiplied manifold. Among his treasures were the Nanming Lihua sword. Supreme artifacts: the Jiutian Shinfeng hairpin and the Sihai Shengping pendant. Supreme grade pills: the Supreme Beauty pill. High grade spirit stones 240. Foundation establishment pills 172. Low grade artifacts 16. Mid grade ring artifacts 3. Mid grade swords 1. These resources were enough to establish even a small sect. The 10,000-fold return system, damn it felt good. In high spirits, Su Xiao sat cross-legged on a cushion, activated the ethereal longevity art, and began his cultivation with joy. Jean Luxiang's face remained flushed for a long time, not just because she had just obtained a large bounty of cultivation resources, but also because she had experienced intimacy for the first time and felt a slight discomfort. Elder Su surely still has many good things. From now on, I must build a good relationship with him, attending to him well during the remaining days of his life. A Tao companion naturally was out of the question. Elder Su commanded high respect in the sect. If their affairs were to spread, it would harm both of them. They must keep it secret. She certainly wouldn't talk, and Elder Su would be even less likely to let it out. Jean Liuxiang was ecstatic. Now she no longer had to endure the ugly face of her master at all. Zhou Xiao, a hideous middle-aged man. Even the aged Elder Su right now was 100 times better looking than him. Besides, Elder Su was very amiable. Clearly a benevolent soul. The transaction with her was merely because Elder Su was old and lonely. Whether in character, wealth, status, or generosity, Elder Su far surpassed that ugly Zhou Xiao. Now Jean Liuxiang found everything about Su Xiao pleasing. Compared to Zhou Xiao, he utterly obliterated the latter. Elder Su is truly wonderful. Jean Luxiang's heart danced with joy. At the mountain path intersection. Senior sister, Jean Liuxiang is out. The pancake face tugged at the squashed face, and the group of female cultivators perked up. They had hidden nearby all night just to settle this grudge. Finally, Jean Liuxiang emerged. When they saw Jean Luxiang's face at that moment, each of them was thunderstruck. Jean Liuxiang was still beautiful, but her makeup was slightly smeared. Rumble, the squashed face, and the other female cultivators were stunned dumb. They were no maidens, the oldest was nearly 40. One look at Jean Liuxiang, unsteady on her feet, and they knew she had spent the entire night tossing and turning with some powerful man. But last night, she had been in Elder Zu's courtyard the whole time. They watched Jean Liuxiang furtively hurry away, as if afraid of being noticed. That scene only confirmed the thoughts in these 5 or 6 women's minds. Elder Su, don't let this vixen bewitch you. They collapsed into the woods, unable to accept what they had witnessed today. Jean Liuxiang, as soon as she returned to her room in the residential area, closed the door and began secluded cultivation. 10 foundation establishment pills would last her a long time. When they ran out, she planned to ask Elder Su for more. To a generous elder like Su, what she used was nothing. Joyful. By the afternoon, the entire outer mountain was in uproar. Rumors about Elder Su spread far and wide. Now nearly every outer disciple was discussing the matter. At the outer sect square. Impossible. I don't believe it. I refuse to believe Elder Su is that kind of person. Neither do I. Elder Su is virtuous and noble, such a kind elder. And you claim he had an affair with an outer disciple. I'd die before believing it. Junior brothers. It's not a matter of belief. Someone saw Jean Liuxiang leaving Elder Zu's courtyard. And she stayed the whole night. Think about it. Elder Su has only ever given gifts to 2 people, Lin Yin'er and Jean Liuxiang, both great beauties of the outer sect. Before Lin Yin'er got those 3 low-grade artifacts, she spent an entire morning in Elder Zu's courtyard. And Jean Liuxiang, even more extreme, stayed a whole night. At first I didn't believe it either, but now I hear Jean Liuxiang has gone into seclusion. She must have gotten a huge haul from Elder Su. That still doesn't prove Elder Su had any improper relations with them. Junior brother, face reality. Elder Su is a good man, but he's also a man. Now maybe both Lin Yin'er and Jean Liuxiang have dubious ties with Elder Su. No. I can't accept this. Elder Su, come out and say something. Elder Su, tell me this isn't true. The disciples beat their chests and stamped their feet. They couldn't accept such a reality. They had hoped Elder Su would be a perfect senior of the sect, sheltering their growth. But no matter how they felt, the rumors about Su Xiao had now spread completely. They even reached the back hall of the outer sect elders' grand chamber. In the resplendent hall, Lu Danian, clad in a gossamer Taoist robe, sat to one side. His honest face shifted from awkwardness to stifled laughter, then to tension, and finally to resignation. Uncle Master, if you had such intentions, you could have told your disciple earlier. Why go to all this expense? In the main hall, over a dozen outer elders in identical robes were seated. Among them were both men and women, all high-ranking officials overseeing the outer affairs of the Pyamyang. Their expressions were mostly similar to Lu Danian's, but with more oddness and embarrassment. By now the entire outer mountain was buzzing with gossip. Their disciples had long reported the matter to them. An elderly elder could not help but speak first. Well, Elder Lu, You're close with Elder Su, so perhaps you should go ask him for clarification, find out the truth. If it's just a rumor, we can take action quickly and instruct the disciples not to spread it further. After all, Elder Su is highly respected in our sect. If such rumors are not curbed, they could cause considerable damage to our Piao sect and Elder Su himself. None of the outer elders truly believed it. Su Xiao, with his seniority and high status, had maintained an unblemished record in the sect for 1,000 years. Now they were saying that Elder Su, who was nearing the end of his life, was having improper relationships with young female disciples, and that he was suspected of using cultivation resources to support them. Such a thing was utterly inconceivable to them, especially for the venerable Elder Su. He was about to die of old age. Even if he had the inclination, did he still have the capability? No way. No matter what they said, they refused to believe it. Lu Danian looked at the surrounding high-ranking outer elders, his expression turning awkward again. He had witnessed his uncle's actions firsthand. He was indeed inexplicably giving gifts to beautiful female cultivators. The rumor of supporting female disciples. It seemed hard to escape. Elders, Lu Danian said solemnly, I think there's no need to trouble Uncle Su about this. He has little time left living alone and lonely in our outer mountain. Do you want these foolish matters to disturb our respected Uncle Su? That would be absurd. The dozen outer elders frowned and nodded silently. Indeed, it was too absurd. They themselves felt embarrassed to ask Elder Su. Lu Danian continued with righteous indignation. Moreover, Uncle Su is old and infirm. If he befriends a few female disciples he takes a liking to and gives them some gifts, what's wrong with that? He has lived a life of hardship, and now his tribulation has failed. Can't he have a few female disciples to care for him in his old age? Elders, these rampant rumors in the outer sect must be stopped immediately. Please go back and instruct your disciples to say no more. After Lu Danian finished, the surrounding elders initially nodded in agreement, but upon reflection, they stared at him in shock. What kind of words were these? From his tone, could it be that Elder Su really had been in contact with female disciples? The elders' expressions grew strange, their eyes filled with disbelief. They could not believe that Elder Su would do such a thing. Impossible. Sensing the odd looks from the elders, Lu Danian said with slight embarrassment, the sect leader has already hinted to me that he will find a Tao companion for Uncle Su, so he can settle down in the sect and leave descendants. Elders, until Uncle Zu's Tao companion enters the sect, these rumors must be stopped. We cannot let gossip affect his union. I ask for your cooperation. This bombshell left the elders stunned and bewildered. A Tao companion. Elder Su was practically at death's door. Was he really going to find a Tao companion and have children? Shock, even horror. The expressions of the outer elders were priceless, yet no one dared to refute. Lu Danian's words were the sect leader's will. What could they say? Even if they still doubted, doubt began to creep in. Could it be that in his twilight years Elder Su had suddenly developed an interest in women? Too surreal. Too bizarre. But on the surface, none of the elders said much. They all expressed agreement. Whether or not Elder Su was actually supporting female disciples, at least the rumors must not spread. The support scandal had to be suppressed quickly. Over the next month, the outer sect focused on disciplining the disciples' tongues, strictly forbidding public discussion of Su Xiao's rumors. At least in public, the disciples, fearing punishment, all fell silent. During this time, Su Xiao began cultivating, using both high-grade spirit stones and foundation establishment. With this dual approach, his cultivation reached the 7th level of foundation establishment. He used 3 high-grade spirit stones and 10 foundation establishment pills. Advancing 2 levels in a month, his cultivation speed was steady. But even steady was a speed that ordinary cultivators could only dream of. Not everyone could have almost unlimited high-grade spirit stones and foundation establishment pills at the foundation establishment stage. During this time, Jin Liuxiang came to see him twice. Su Xiao, within reason, gave her 20 foundation establishment pills and received 40 nourishing golden core pills intended for core formation cultivators. Another win-win. With Su Xiao's support, Jin Liuxiang reached the 3rd level of foundation establishment. As for Lin Yin'er, she hadn't been seen in a month, likely still in seclusion, trying to break through to foundation establishment. Breaking through a major realm is difficult. It could take a month or even a year. That evening, Jin Luxiang's foundation establishment pills were nearly depleted. After dressing up in her fragrant room, she was in good spirits as she quietly made her way to Su Xiao's residence. With an unlimited supply of foundation establishment pills, her cultivation was advancing rapidly. Now Jin Liuxiang felt that the deal with Elder Su was incredibly worthwhile. Though the outer disciples had initially spoken ill of her, they soon fell silent and looked at her with a mix of awe. Some female disciples even looked at her with extreme envy. Beyond the tangible benefits, it satisfied her vanity immensely. Now, even if Su Xiao openly acknowledged their relationship, she would not refuse. In fact, she would welcome it. Elder Su was the true powerhouse she wanted to latch onto. Thinking of her master Zhou Xiao, Jin Liuxiang felt a strange disgust. She didn't even want to see him for the past month. Just as Jean Liuxiang left the residential area and headed towards Su Xiao's residence, a young man quietly appeared not far behind her. Junior sister Jean. Going to see Elder Su again. How many times has this been? How despicable. What's so good about that decrepit old man? The young man watched her swaying figure, his lungs nearly bursting with rage. The thought of his junior sister made him tremble all over, so angry he could spit blood. Junior sister, this time master will not let you off. You dirty pair. A young man with an elongated face of ordinary appearance, clad in the light blue long robe of an outer disciple, served as an executor of the enforcement team and the eldest apprentice of Zhou Xiao. He was also Jean Liuxiang's nominal senior brother. Ever since Jean Liuxiang was accepted as a disciple by their master, he and his junior brother could hardly take their eyes off her. Such a beautiful junior sister. Even among the entire outer sect, her features were second to none. But after getting to know her over time, he discovered that Jean Liuxiang was not as graceful and alluring as she appeared. She was nothing but a green tea bitch who had swindled a large number of spirit stones and pills from him and his junior brother. And in the end, neither he nor his junior brother had even touched her hand. How infuriating. Now she was with Elder Su for cultivation resources. He felt utterly humiliated. Though he knew that his master Zhou Xiao also had feelings for junior sister Jean, he could no longer endure it. He had to inform his master and let him deal with this adulterous pair. Elder Su, outwardly virtuous and a paragon of teaching, yet secretly engaging in such despicable acts, and even suppressing the rumors through the outer sect elder. Shameless. An elder without dignity. Seething with rage, the long-faced young man headed straight for Zhou Xiao's cave dwelling. Behind the male disciple's lodging area lay an elegant and spacious courtyard. This was the residence of the outer sect elder and executors, where Zhou Xiao lived. At that moment, Zhou Xiao sat in the courtyard hall listening to the long-faced young man's report, and with a sharp crack shattered the teacup in his hand. Zhou Xiao was an ugly middle-aged man, short in stature, with a face full of pockmarks. His face contorted with fury as he stood and roared, Jean Liuxiang. That slut. His face trembled with rage, his chest heaving violently, his whole body shaking from the news the long-faced young man had delivered. Jean Liuxiang was the female disciple he had specifically selected for his own pleasure. She was strikingly beautiful, young, and delicate. He had already invested a low-grade magic artifact in her, waiting for her to yield. Unexpectedly, Elder Su had snatched her away midway. Malu, tell me, how many times has that slut Jean Liuxiang gone to Elder Zu's villa this month? Zhou Xiao thundered. At first he hadn't believed the rumors, unable to imagine that someone as virtuous as Elder Su would stoop so low. But now his eldest apprentice had witnessed it with his own eyes, and more than once. Combined with Jean Liuxiang's recent cold attitude toward him, even if he wanted to deny it, he had no choice but to believe it. Slut. The long-faced young man, Ma Lu said venomously, 3 times, master. Junior sister Jean has gone to Elder Zu's villa 3 times. And each time I made sure to observe. She didn't return to her residence until the next morning. Moreover, every time she came out, she was radiant with delight, clearly up to no good with Elder Su. Master, we cannot let junior sister Jean off the hook. Beside Ma Lu sat a tall, thin, male disciple, Ma Liu's junior brother. As another victim, he was equally furious, his face flushed with anger. Zhou Xiao's face twisted into a savage snarl, making his ugly visage even more repulsive. The pockmarks seemed to ooze with greasy fluid, utterly nauseating. He gritted his teeth and sat down, staring at the darkening sky outside. The thought of Jean Liuxiang and Su Xiao's affair made him writhe in agony, unable to. A fierce glint flashed in his eyes. Zhou Xiao spoke in a low voice. So Jean Liuxiang has gone to Elder Zu's place again? Yes. Ma Lu quickly replied. It must be, master. For all we know, they're already in bed, fooling around. Damned woman. Zhou Xiao's heart ached unbearably. He never imagined such a thing could happen to him. If the other party were an ordinary disciple, he would have marched over right now, charging them with adultery and killing them on the spot under the authority of the enforcement team. But Elder Su was no ordinary disciple. He was an inner sect elder and the senior martial brother of the sect leader. Master, we absolutely cannot let them. We dare not provoke Elder Su, but Jean Liuxiang must be severely punished. Ma Lu and his junior brother fanned the flames. Zhou Xiao frowned in thought, then seemed to come to a decision. His eyes gleamed with cunning as he sneered. Elder Su is merely respected in name. In truth, he's nothing but a foundation establishment cultivator now, utterly insignificant. That slut Jean Liuxiang must have coveted Elder Zu's legacy and willingly engaged in this affair. Now that I've found out, I won't let that slut have her way. Prepare yourselves. Later we'll go together to Elder Zu's villa and catch them in the act. Ma Lu and the other disciple were taken aback. Master, are we really going directly to Elder Zu's villa? Wouldn't that be inappropriate? He is Uncle Lu's grand. Their master Zhou Xiao was only at the core formation stage, an outer sect executor. Was it appropriate to catch an inner sect elder in adultery? Zhou Xiao sneered. If you don't tell, and I don't tell, who will know what happened tonight? Once we catch them in the act, Elder Su will surely dare not spread the news, nor will he call for help. And then Elder Su will probably have to give us a generous hush money to keep our mouths shut. As for Jean Liuxiang shall naturally not dare to fool around with Elder Su anymore and will obediently stay under me. His plan achieved 2 goals with 1 action. As long as he caught them in bed, he could both extort a batch of resources from Elder Su and have a handle on Jean Liuxiang. That little beauty would then have to obey his every command. Huh, slut, just you wait. He'll teach you a lesson. Seeing his 2 apprentices still hesitant, Xiao waved his hand and laughed viciously. Don't worry. Elder Su is at death's door. He'll surely care about his reputation and his... Besides, he's just an old man at Foundation establishment now. No threat to us at all. Rest assured. Hearing this, Ma Lu and the other disciple relaxed and nodded in agreement. The master was right. Once they caught the adultery, they'd not only get hush money, but also have complete control over Jean Liuxiang. The 3 of them secretly schemed for... When the moon hung high in the sky, they changed into night robes and slipped towards Su Xiao's villa under the cover of moonlight. In Su Xiao's private courtyard on the bed, Elder Su, you are so generous, you must have a lot of resources, right? Jean Liuxiang said, her breath fragrant and her pretty face slightly flushed. Su Xiao chuckled, not much, not much. But Liuxiang, rest assured, although it's not much, it will definitely be enough for you. He said, even if I pass away, I will not treat you poorly. He chuckled inwardly. Naturally, he would not treat her poorly. Her bond level had already risen to level 2. Even her fortune level had been elevated to brink in recent days. In the future, he would continue to give her gifts to achieve mutual benefit. This was naturally Jean Liuxiang's opportunity. Through this period of interaction, he found that although Jean Liuxiang was somewhat greedy and had some small schemes, overall she was a woman with character and principles. She was not secretive with him and openly stated what she wanted, which meant Su Xiao didn't even need to find excuses to give her gifts. A woman of such fortune was practically tailor-made for him. He decided to cover all her cultivation resources along the way. Really? Liuxiang, thanks, Elder Su. Jean Liuxiang's face lit up with joy, a blush spreading across her fair cheeks. At that moment, Su Xiao looked toward a certain direction outside the house. What's wrong, Elder? Jean Liuxiang's expression changed. Su Xiao's eyes turned serious as he said, several people are approaching the courtyard. I suspect they are. He quickly put on his gray robe while sensing with his divine sense. Within the range of his perception, 3 furtive figures appeared creeping toward his courtyard. Although his cultivation had fallen to the Foundation establishment stage, his divine sense remained undiminished, still at the nascent soul 9th level. While it was of little use in combat, his detection and perception abilities far exceeded those of ordinary Foundation establishment cultivators. Someone is coming. Hearing this, Jean Liuxiang's face changed, and she quickly got out of bed to put on her sect robe. Humph, indeed, 3 scoundrels. Su Xiao's aged face twisted into a cold sneer. From the path the 3 had taken, he could tell they had ill intentions. Most likely they were here to investigate his relationship with Jean Liuxiang. Go, he murmured softly, and instantly a fiery red sword light shot out, flying out the window. The crimson brilliance illuminated the ground, its aura terrifyingly. Elder. Jean Liuxiang, now dressed, was greatly moved. The fiery flying sword that Elder Su had just unleashed was so awe-inspiring that even she felt her heart quake. This is definitely a high-grade magic artifact at least, or even a supreme-grade artifact. Jean Liuxiang was both delighted and shocked. The old man, after all, was once a nascent soul 9th level powerhouse. Even though he had fallen to the Foundation establishment stage, he was far beyond what ordinary cultivators could withstand. Not far outside the courtyard, when Zhou Xiao and his 2 companions saw the fiery red sword light soaring up from the room, the 3 were stunned speechless. Sensing the irresistible, overwhelming power within it, they stared in terror, frozen in place with shock. Zhou Xiao's heart trembled. This was definitely not a technique that a Foundation establishment cultivator could use. And that fiery red sword at least gave him the feeling of a high-grade magic artifact. Elder Su. They had been discovered by Elder Su. Quick, retreat. He screamed in terror. As a core formation 6th level cultivator facing the flying fire sword, his legs trembled, and he dared not muster any resistance. How could Elder Su still have such strength? Impossible. Master, what do we do? Ma Lu and the other beside him were so scared they couldn't move. It's over, they were exposed. And Elder Su was terrifyingly strong. Seeing the fiery flying sword about to strike, the 3 hurriedly summoned their magic swords to defend using sword control techniques. Bang, bang, bang. But the moment their flying swords touched the fiery red sword, they were shattered into pieces, unable to block its forward momentum in the slightest. Impossible. Zhou Xiao's face changed drastically, and he roared in terror. But it was too late. The Nanming Lihua sword under Su Xiao's divine sense control instantly swept across the 3's lower bodies. In an instant, their thighs were severed by the fiery sword, and their upper bodies fell to the ground, wailing incessantly. The The flying sword soared into the sky, once more emitted a clear sword cry, and then returned to Su Xiao's dwelling. Xiao and his companions lay on the ground in agony, their eyes filled with terror. A single sword had completely subdued them. The severed ends of their legs had been charred black by the flames. Even if they wanted to reattach their legs in the future, they would have to cut off some of the damaged flesh, losing a few inches in height. Su Xiao opened the door and walked out of the courtyard with Jin Liuxiang, arriving at the woodland where the three lay. "Master, it's you." When Jin Liuxiang saw the three on the ground, her eyes widened in shock. Su Xiao glanced at the ugly middle-aged man and sneered. "Liuxiang, are these your master and senior brothers?" "Yes. Elder Su, he is Zhou Xiao." The clever Jin Liuxiang instantly guessed what her master had come for. Now she felt nothing but contempt for these three, wishing they would die right then and there. Zhou Xiao and his companions, seeing the two before them, turned pale with fright. "Elder Su." Jin Liuxiang. "It's over. Elder Su. Misunderstanding. It's all a misunderstanding." Zhou Xiao wailed in pain on the ground, his face pale, his ugly features filled with fear and regret. Who would have thought that this Elder Su, who had failed his lightning tribulation, still possessed such strength? Defeated. Completely defeated. Su Xiao smiled gently and stepped forward, saying, "Zhou Xiao, I've seen you before. You are under my junior disciple Lu Danian, aren't you? What are you doing here so late at night? I thought you were some kind of thief, so I struck first." By now he naturally knew the purpose of their visit. Wasn't it just to catch them in the act? Over this period, Jin Liuxiang had already told him about the three master and disciples. None of them focused on cultivation, always scheming after Jin Liuxiang. Such people had no hope on the path of Tao. The sect needed to be better managed. Su Xiao sighed inwardly. At this moment, he naturally excluded himself from that thought. He was only building a good relationship with the fortune-blessed maiden to facilitate future gifts and tread the path of immortality. "That's right, Elder Su. I am indeed your junior disciple, subordinate of Elder Lu. Elder Su, please, for the sake of Elder Lu, let me off. It's all a misunderstanding." Zhou Xiao and his companions lay on the ground, clasping their hands and pleading repeatedly. "Elder Su, we were merely bewitched by greed, sneaking here to pry into your affairs. It is mainly because Jin Liuxiang is my disciple and I feared she might suffer bullying at your hands, thus resorting to this desperate measure. Elder Su, please, have mercy on us." Zhou Xiao struggled to rise, kneeling before Su Xiao with one leg, repeatedly kowtowing in apology. Beside him, Ma Lu and the other, both only at the foundation establishment stage, had their legs severed and lacked the strength to stand. Jin Liuxiang gazed at her ugly, despicable master and felt even more disgusted. Then she stole a glance at the upright, strikingly handsome Su Xiao. At this moment her heart brimmed with joy. Elder Su was truly someone worthy of entrusting. This was the thigh she ought to cling to. Admiration and reverence. Su Xiao, who had displayed his immense power and wealth, now stood tall in Jin Liuxiang's heart. Su Xiao frowned slightly, his white brows knitting, and said to Zhou Xiao, "Zhou Xiao, you are mistaken. Liuxiang is with me only for guidance and cultivation." "You." Sigh. Hearing the elders sigh, Zhou Xiao's face turned deathly pale. Whether or not anything was amiss, if he failed to obtain Elder Zu's forgiveness, now staying in the Piaomiao sect would be impossible. He might even lose his life. After all his scheming, he had overlooked one point. Elder Zu's strength had not diminished much. "Elder Su, please spare me this once. Your disciple will never dare again." Zhou Xiao, throwing caution to the wind, lunged forward, clasped Su Xiao's legs, and continued begging for mercy. Su Xiao shook his head and said, "Liuxiang, he is your master. Tell me what should be done with someone who sneaks into an elder's cave dwelling at night with ill intent." Jin Liuxiang looked at Zhou Xiao with disdain and said coldly, "Elder Su, simply kill him." "Oh." Zhou Xiao's expression changed drastically upon Liuxiang. "I am your master. I even gave you a low-grade spirit sword. Liuxiang, please plead for me before Elder Su. Your master begs you." Jin Liuxiang said displeasedly, "Do not call me Liuxiang." Yes, young friend Jin. I beg you, spare my life," Zhou Xiao pleaded. Jin Liuxiang's delicate brows furrowed. She wished for Zhou Xiao's death, that ugly man. But this matter required Elder Zu's decision. Su Xiao sighed, "Death is too severe. Zhou Xiao, you are also a member of the enforcement team. Let Lu Danian come and handle it according to the sect rules." After that he ignored Zhou Xiao's desperate pleas. He took out a transmission talisman, cast it, and said softly, "Danian, come to my cave dwelling. Something has happened." "Ah, come alone." Soon Lu Danian arrived hastily on his flying sword. When he saw the group by the forest beside the small courtyard, he stood frozen in shock. What is going on?" Lu Danian glanced at Jin Liuxiang, then at Su Xiao, and silently swallowed his saliva. His senior uncle no longer felt the need to hide things from him. Yet he was still pleased, for at least his senior uncle trusted him. "Zhou Xiao, what are you doing here?" Lu Danian frowned deeply at the three on the ground. Su Xiao recounted the entire sequence of events to Lu. As for him and Jean Liuxiang, Su Xiao merely said they were fated and that he had guided her cultivation all night. Though the excuse seemed flimsy, Su Xiao had his own plans and Lu Danian was a good man. Zhou Xiao, you have audacious guts. Lu Danian kicked Zhou Xiao several times after hearing the story, snarling, how dare you spy on Senior Uncle Su? You've grown tired. With a flurry of punches and kicks, Zhou Xiao was soon battered, his face swollen and purple. He looked even uglier. Elder Lu, mercy. Zhou Xiao wailed prostrate on the ground. Su Xiao said, Danian, handle it according to the sect rules. And Jean Liuxiang shall sever her master-disciple relationship with Zhou Xiao. Lu Danian quickly clasped his fists and nodded in agreement. Then he turned to Zhou Xiao and roared, Zhou Xiao, if it weren't for Senior Uncle Su pleading for you, I would have beaten you to death today. Go back tonight and pack up. Tomorrow morning the three of you will roll down the mountain. The Piao sect has no place for such irreverent disciples who disrespect the sect's elder. Zhou Xiao's heart leaped with joy. He quickly said, yes. Thank you, Elder Lu, and thank you, Elder Su, for your mercy. For him, saving his life was enough. With his core formation stage strength, he could fare well as a rogue cultivator. This was the best punishment now. Get lost. If I see you again tomorrow, I'll strike you dead on the spot. Lu Danian bellowed. Zhou Xiao hastily bowed in thanks to both men. Then, clutching his charred, severed leg, he woke Ma Lu and the other. The three of them, dragging their legs, scrambled away in terror. Lu Danian then approached Su Xiao shamefaced and said, Senior Uncle, it's my fault for not managing my subordinates while causing you distress. He was inwardly puzzled. Hadn't his senior uncle's cultivation dropped to foundation establishment? Yet he had easily subdued Zhou Xiao, indicating his senior uncle still retained at least late core formation strength. Truly worthy of his senior uncle. Su Xiao smiled and said, no matter. Danian, it seems the outer disciples have misunderstood. Luxiang, stay with me. Your enforcement team should do its best to dispel these rumors, or else I'll find it hard to conduct myself. Lu Danian understood, instantly nodded and said, rest assured, Senior Uncle. As long as I'm here, anyone who dares gossip about you will face sect discipline. Good. Su Xiao nodded with satisfaction. Beside him, Jean Liuxiang watched the usually stern and imposing enforcement elder act as obedient as a little follower before Su Xiao, and her beautiful eyes sparkled. At this moment, she felt even more fortunate to have chosen the right person. With Elder Su around, her path of cultivation would be worry-free. Su Xiao pondered slightly and said, Danian Liuxiang and I have a fated connection. She has good talent already at Foundation Establishment Stage 3. How about enrolling her as a nominal disciple under your tutelage? That way no more troublemakers like Zhou Xiao will appear. What do you think? Lu Danian glanced at the loosely dressed Jean Liuxiang, whose cheeks flushed slightly and his heart trembled. What was going on? This? Senior Uncle. This is inappropriate. Lu Danian looked aggrieved. What's inappropriate? It's settled. Su Xiao gave him no chance to argue. It's just a nominal disciple, no harm done. Then he said to Jean Liuxiang, Liuxiang, Lu Danian will be your master. Are you willing? Jean Liuxiang's eyes lit up. She knelt and bowed directly to Su Xiao, saying, Thank you, Elder Su. Your disciple is willing. Her heart was racing with excitement. Enforcement Elder Lu Danian was the sect leader's disciple. Becoming his disciple meant she would also be connected to Dugu, the sect leader. Thus, even if Elder Su passed away in the future, she would still have Lu Danian and the sect leader to support her. Jean Liuxiang looked at Su Xiao, nearly moved to tears. Elder Su had been so good to her, even arranging everything so well for after his death. She resolved to serve the elder well until his final moments. Senior Uncle. This isn't appropriate. Lu Danian was on the verge of tears. Senior Uncle had assigned him a task akin to managing a crematorium. He even harbored a foreboding feeling that Lin Yenner would ultimately end up becoming his nominal disciple as well. Over the years, he had come to understand the sect master's profound affection for Senior Uncle. Though the sect master constantly declared his intention to find Senior Uncle a Tao companion, he meant only himself in that role. If it were ever revealed that he was helping Senior Uncle keep a mistress, he sensed he would face dire consequences. What's wrong with it? Danian, could it be that now that your cultivation has advanced, you no longer heed your Senior Uncle's words? Su Xiao cast a glance at Lu Danian, his white brows slightly furrowed. The innate majesty etched into his very soul caused Lu Danian's heart to pound wildly as he trembled uncontrollably. No, he'll follow Senior Uncle's orders. Junior Jean, you shall become my nominal disciple. Lu Danian quickly nodded. Su Xiao's expression softened once more, and he smiled. That's right. Remember, don't mention these matters to your junior uncle. Let it remain between us. Jean Liuxiang, pay your respects to your master. Jean Liuxiang's seductive eyes flickered, and she swiftly turned to bow before Lu Danian. Disciple greets master. Lu Danian's face twisted with bitterness. Alas. It's merely a nominal title, just a formality. Junior Jean need not be so formal. He had agreed, and from now on troubles would surely be plentiful. Su Xiao said, Danian, you need not provide cultivation resources for Liuxiang. I, as her senior uncle, will arrange everything. He then helped Jean Liuxiang to her feet. Liuxiang, it's late today, so I want to instruct you further. Here are 20 foundation establishment pills for your cultivation. When you run out, be sure to come find me. Su Xiao declared generously, don't hesitate to take what you need. Liuxiang, I will cover all your future cultivation resources. Both Jean Liuxiang and Lu Danian were stunned. The former was so moved by Su Xiao's magnanimity that tears of gratitude streamed down her face. Lu Danian was awestruck by Su Xiao's expenditure. Senior uncle was playing for real. Disciple thanks Elder Su. Jean Liuxiang accepted the 20 foundation establishment pills and knelt before Su Xiao, once more weeping like a pear blossom in the rain. Elder Su Xiao was the greatest benefactor of her life. The only man she truly acknowledged. Though a bit aged, he was still a handsome older gentleman. An absolute tycoon. Lu Danian swallowed hard and blinked his cow-like eyes repeatedly at Su Xiao. No wonder senior uncle could effortlessly win over a young beauty like Jean Liuxiang. With such generosity, even he would be willing to offer himself. All right, rise. Su Xiao helped Jean Liuxiang to her feet. Then looking at Lu Danian with a meaningful gaze, he said, Danian, about these matters of mine. Before he could finish, Lu Danian immediately interjected, Senior uncle, rest assured. I understand completely. Not a single word of these affairs shall ever leave my lips. Junior Jean simply shares a fateful connection with senior uncle, who merely offers her guidance on cultivation in the evenings. Su Xiao nodded in satisfaction at the response. Lu Danian had become a highly skilled wingman. After giving further instructions, Su Xiao prepared to retire to his chamber. Senior uncle, wait. Lu Danian stepped forward, his expression mysterious. As for Zhou Xiao and his 2 disciples, should this disciple? He gestured toward his own neck, the implication unmistakable. Su Xiao snorted with a laugh. Though I never wish to lay eyes on Zhou Xiao again, our Misty Sect is a righteous faction. How could we stoop to such demonic deeds? Danian, let them descend the mountain first. After that, handle it as you see fit. Lu Danian's eyes brightened, a glint of murderous intent flickering within. He clasped his fists. Yes, senior uncle. This disciple understands. After Su Xiao departed, only Lu Danian and Jean Liuxiang remained. The latter held the 20 foundation establishment pills, her gaze fixed on Su Xiao's. At that moment she realized that tall silhouette was actually so handsome, so captivating. All right, stop staring. Lu Danian instantly regained the dignified bearing of the outer sect law enforcement elder. He fixed his eyes on Jean Liuxiang and warned sternly, Junior Jean, senior uncle Su is old and lonely. In these final days you must accompany him well and never betray his feelings. If you make senior uncle's heart ache, our Misty Sect will show you no mercy. Jean Liuxiang's expression shifted abruptly. She quickly nodded. Master, this disciple understands. Rest assured, master. Elder Su has given me a new lease on life. I will give my utmost. Lu Danian nodded and reminded her, good. Also, there's no need to call me master. You are merely a nominal disciple placed under my name. There is no true master-disciple bond. With that, Lu Danian summoned his long sword and flew away on it. Jean Liuxiang blinked, her beautiful eyes brimming with joy. With Elder Su backing her, her future was. Inside the small courtyard's room, the system's voice chimed, congratulations, host, for successfully gifting 10 foundation establishment pills. In return, you have received 20 spirit condensation pills. Why only count 10? Su Xiao sat on his meditation cushion, his old eyes twitching slightly. Without a doubt, giving away 20 at once was too many, exceeding what the recipient could currently utilize. The system had refused to acknowledge the full amount. Indeed, whether pills, artifacts, or other cultivation resources, one must give appropriately. Enough for the recipient to justly make use of. Otherwise, this damned system would not honor it. But no matter, it'll be more careful next time. This time I didn't lose out. 20 spirit condensation pills were equivalent in value to 200 foundation establishment pills, a win-win situation. He closed his eyes and began his daily cultivation, circulating spiritual energy through his meridians according to the Misty eternal longevity art. Several days later, a sensational rumor once again spread among the outer disciples. Zhou Xiao, the master of Jean Liuxiang, along with his 2 senior disciples, had been expelled from the Misty Sect. Furthermore, the beautiful outer disciple Jean Liuxiang had been accepted as a nominal disciple by Elder Lu. This news exploded like an atomic bomb among the outer disciples. The emotions that the outer sect high-ranking had suppressed were now detonating once more. In the dormitory area, clusters of outer disciples whispered furtively among themselves. Their expressions ranged from incredulous to scandalous, as if they had heard gossip that shattered all norms. No need to speculate. It's true. Jean Liuxiang has indeed latched onto Elder Su. Good heavens. Who would have thought that Elder Su, such a virtuous and respected senior of our sect, would lose his integrity in his old age? That Jean Liuxiang has broken through to the 3rd layer of foundation establishment in just a month. She has so many foundation establishment pills she can't even use them all. I heard that her former master steward Xiao had designs on her. When Elder Su found out, he was expelled from the sect. Even his 2 disciples couldn't escape. The disciples who had just heard the news were thunderstruck. Elder Su could never be such a person. They refused to believe it. The curiosity grew ever stronger, and the disciples began to let their imaginations run wild. TSK. That Xiao discovered Elder Zu's affair with Jin Liuxiang, and in his fury Elder Su used his influence to expel Xiao and his master from the sect. Elder Su couldn't possibly be that kind of person. Alas, under normal circumstances it's impossible, but when a woman is involved, who can say for sure? Besides, Jin Liuxiang is so beautiful. Heavens, I never imagined Elder Su could be like this behind closed doors. Expelling Xiao's entire lineage from the Piao sect for the sake of an outer sect schemer. How horrifying. Keep your voice down. Don't let anyone else hear. If the enforcement team finds out we're gossiping about Elder Su, Xiao's fate will be ours. At these words, all the disciples felt the enforcement team was cracking down hard. Anyone caught discussing Elder Zu's affairs within the sect would be punished. The lightest penalty was a year's worth of spirit stones docked, the heaviest. Xiao was the prime example. How terrifying. Elder Su, how did you become like this in your old age? The disciples hardly recognize you anymore. Though many outer disciples still refuse to believe it, a seed of doubt about Elder Zu's tarnished twilight years had been planted in their hearts. Alas, behind the outer mountain's main hall in the enforcement hall, Lu Danian listened to the reports from his subordinates, his brow deeply furrowed into a character for river. The rumors about Elder Su among the outer disciples were spreading like wildfire, impossible to suppress. How could the enforcement team truly arrest every gossiping disciple and expel them from the sect? The law couldn't punish the masses. A middle-aged steward spoke with a troubled expression. Elder Lu, perhaps you should advise Elder Su to be more discreet. The rumors are rampant on the outer mountain again. I'm afraid news of Elder Su has already reached the inner mountain. It wasn't just the outer disciples, even the stewards of the enforcement team had been gossiping about Elder Su these past 2 days. That Jin Liuxiang didn't even try to hide it anymore, swaggering her way to Elder Zu's courtyard every time. It made their job as the enforcement team incredibly difficult. Lu Danian slammed the table in rage. Discreet. Elder Su is merely giving Jin Liuxiang guidance on her cultivation. Don't any of you let your imaginations run wild. Yes, yes. The stewards lamented inwardly, but dared not speak another word. Xiao from the enforcement team had dug too deep into Elder Su and Jin Liuxiang's affair just 2 days ago, and was severely beaten before being expelled from the sect. With such a terrifying example before them, they didn't dare breathe a single word about Elder Su keeping a female disciple as a concubine. Elder Su, your time is nearly up. Why have you suddenly become interested in female cultivators? Tarnishing your legacy. Just then a streak of light flew in from outside the door. In an instant a woman in a long cyan dress alighted at the entrance. She possessed a pair of noble and spirited phoenix eyes, as dazzling and enchanting as stars in the night sky. Her peerlessly beautiful, ethereal countenance was like the most exquisite flower in the world, drawing all eyes. Her fair skin shimmered with a captivating luster, smooth as the world's most precious jade. Her swan-like neck had a perfect, graceful curve, and her delicate, slender collarbones exuded the utmost feminine allure. The beautiful cyan dress clung to her form, perfectly outlining her figure with its flawless curves. As a breeze passed, her waterfall of black hair cascading to her slender waist fluttered slightly, carrying an intoxicating fragrance. The visitor was none other than Lu Danian's master, the sect leader of the Piao sect, Dugu Ling. Upon seeing the woman who entered, everyone in the enforcement hall changed expression. They quickly cupped their hands in respect, saying, "Disciple pays respects to sect leader Dugu." Dugu Ling's expression was somewhat cold. She looked at Lu Danian and waved her jade-like hand. "All of you leave. I have matters to discuss with Lu Danian." Yes. The outer sect enforcement team members scurried out, not daring to stay a moment longer. It was over. Elder Lu was finished. Covering up for Elder Su keeping a female disciple as a concubine, and now the sect leader had come to hold him accountable. Some stewards even felt a hint of schadenfreude. Sect leader Dugu, please deal with Elder Lu and Elder Su. If this corruption isn't stopped, the Piao sect's reputation will be completely ruined. For an elder of Elder Zu's standing, only the sect leader or the grand elders could hope to have any effect. Lu Danian. Dugu Ling, with her hands behind her back, spoke in a cold, clear voice that sent a shiver down Lu Danian's spine. "Disciple pays respects to master." Lu Danian hurried forward and without a word knelt before Dugu Ling. "Master, this has nothing to do with your disciple." Lu Danian was terrified and immediately threw Xiao under the carriage. He had only seen Dugu Ling like this 3 times in his entire life, and each time it had been accompanied by the fall of countless cultivators. "Uncle Master, this nephew doesn't want to betray you, but he simply can't withstand the pressure anymore. Seeing this, Dugu Ling's delicate brow furrowed slightly. She said coldly, "Tell me everything from beginning to end about what that old fool Su Xiao has been up to. If you dare to defend him in front of me, you will die." Lu Danian's face instantly turned deathly pale, his eyes filled with terror. "Master, this is what happened. It was all Uncle Master Su who insisted on keeping a mistress." In the bright sunlit morning, Su Xiao lay on his bed. Jean Liuxiang, her face slightly flushed, rested beside him, her beautiful eyes closed. "I need to find a way to meet more daughters of fortune." Su Xiao stroked his goatee, a thoughtful look in his eyes. He couldn't just blindly give gifts to daughters of fortune. To maximize the system's returns, he needed to increase the quantity. Moreover, the first gift to a daughter of fortune could reliably trigger a critical hit. Even if he only gave each one a single gift, it would be an immensely profitable deal. "It seems I need to wander around more when I have nothing to do. Maybe you'll run into a few more daughters of fortune. For a highly respected senior like himself, a simple you and I are fated, and a single gift should be perfectly reasonable." Just as he was about to wake Jean Liuxiang and send her away, Su Xiao's eyes moved. His divine sense detected an incredibly powerful surge of spiritual energy flying towards them at tremendous speed. "Not good. Liuxiang, get dressed quickly, the sect leader is coming," Su Xiao said as he got out of bed and put on his gray robe. Jean Liuxiang woke with a start. Upon hearing that the sect leader was coming, her charming face drained of all color. She knew that sect leader Dugu was Elder Zu's junior sister. If she saw them like this, the consequences would be disastrous. They hastily dressed, and Jean Liuxiang was about to leave. With a loud bang, the door was blasted open by a surge of spiritual energy. Then Dugu Ling, dressed in a cyan dress and radiating beauty, stood at the entrance. She cast a glance at Jean Liuxiang inside the room, and her face instantly darkened. Jean Liuxiang was so frightened that her beauty was utterly distorted. Looking at the incomparably beautiful figure before her, whom she felt inferior to, her heart sank. So this was the Piaomiao sect leader Dugu Ling. Disciple Jean Liuxiang pays respects to sect leader Dugu. Jean Liuxiang immediately stepped forward, knelt on the ground, and performed a grand bow. "Get lost." Dugu Ling didn't even glance at Jean Liuxiang, her eyes fixed solely on Su Xiao as she spoke indifferently. "Yes, yes." Jean Liuxiang retreated from Dugu Ling's side in terror, casting a fearful glance back at Su Xiao. Sect leader Dugu was too terrifying. This oppressive aura made her feel as insignificant as an ant before her. After Jean Liuxiang left, Dugu Ling closed the door. Looking at the somewhat awkward Su Xiao, she smiled unusually. "Senior brother, I told you I'd find you a beautiful Dao partner. Can't you even hold out for a few days? I never expected that as you age your desires would actually grow stronger." Su Xiao, hearing the reproach in her tone, sighed with a wry smile. "Junior sister Jean Liuxiang and I are fated. I was merely guiding her cultivation. Please don't misunderstand." He shook his head inwardly, knowing he couldn't hide it. Dugu Ling had grown up with him, even if his talent was limited, and he couldn't reach the nascent soul realm to become her Dao partner. He knew that Dugu Ling had a peculiar possessiveness over him. It was fine for her to find him a Dao partner, but if he sought one himself, she would surely be angry. It couldn't be helped. In his youth, he was too handsome and charismatic, leaving an indelible impression on junior sister Dugu. "Don't lie to me, I'm not angry. Few men are all the same, even in old age." Dugu Ling sneered and sat down at the table. Then she turned serious. "Senior brother, your affairs have already spread to the inner sect. Now because of you, my reputation and masters have suffered. Stop this immediately. Don't let it happen again. Otherwise I'll have to punish you on master's behalf." She was furious. Her senior brother had gone behind her back to see women. For 1,000 years, whenever he showed such inclinations, she had promptly intervened. Even if he grew old and died, he could only be hers. Even if he wanted a Dao partner, it had to be one she chose. Su Xiao waved his hand with a smile, explaining, "Junior sister, I have my reasons for this. Don't just look at the surface. I won't let Jean Liuxiang come anymore." After this time, his bond with Jean Liuxiang remained at level 2. It seemed further contact wouldn't deepen it, so her presence no longer mattered. He needed to find another way to raise the bond. "Not just her, I heard there's also a Lin Yenner." Dugu Ling raised a delicate brow. Su Xiao smiled. "Junior sister Lin Yenner and I share only a slight fate. There's nothing else between us. Rest assured." Dugu Ling nodded, her gaze complex as she looked. "Senior brother, once I find you your Dao partner, you can do as you please." Dugu Ling stood up with a light laugh. "Then I won't bother with you anymore." Detected daughter of fortune. Dugu Ling fortune level SS, return multiplier 50x bond level 1. Gazing at his noble fairy-like junior sister, Su Xiao heard the system's confirmation again. He shook his head at her words. For his path to immortality, he couldn't comply with her wishes. The system's rule was clear: he had to gift items to these daughters of fortune to receive returns. Su Xiao cleared his throat and stepped forward. "Junior sister, rest assured he'll be more careful in the future." As he spoke, his aged eyes brightened as he retrieved a faintly glowing pill from his spatial storage. This was an ultimate-grade beauty pill specially prepared for Duguling. The explosion from this would be extraordinary. Approaching Duguling, Xiao stroked his handsome goatee, holding the pill. Junior sister, I happened upon this ultimate-grade beauty pill in my later years. I intended to keep it for my old age, but today, seeing you angry over my matters, I feel deeply apologetic. I gift this pill to you hoping it brings you joy. Xiao exuded confidence. No female cultivator could resist a beauty pill, let alone an ultimate grade one. A beauty pill, eh? Ultimate grade. Duguling was stunned, her beautiful face frozen. She immediately took the pill from Xiao's hand, examining it closely. Such a high-quality beauty pill actually exists. Senior brother, where did you get this? Do you realize that such a thing can't be bought even with spirit stones now? At the first sight of the ultimate-grade beauty pill, Duguling forgot all about Xiao's infidelity. In its place, surged an overwhelming excitement and joy. She had previously struggled to find even a mid-grade beauty pill. Such items were already rare. Even a mid-grade one was fought over by countless female cultivators. Although a mid-grade pill could preserve her youth in old age, its effects paled in comparison to the ultimate grade. If this were placed in the Union of Delight sect, someone might pay thousands of high-grade spirit stones. Excitement. The coldness on Duguling's face vanished, replaced by a faint blush. Her senior brother had gifted her something so precious. Xiao smiled. Junior sister, calm down. It's nothing too valuable. Senior brother, thank you. Duguling swallowed excitedly, unable to contain her joy as she embraced Xiao. A refreshing, fragrant breeze swept over him. I knew you'd always be the best to me in this life. Duguling was overjoyed. In that moment, she seemed to feel the presence of the senior brother she had once yearned for. Xiao chuckled softly. Junior sister, though I've aged, I'll never forget you. The things I gave Jean Liuxiang and Lin Yenner were just a few foundation establishment pills and some low-grade artifacts, mere pretenses. But this ultimate-grade beauty pill I only keep for you. In this life you are the only one I have truly loved. Xiao was adept at sweet talk. With this barrage of honeyed words, junior sister Dugu would likely stop overthinking, making it easier for him to gift and receive returns. As for ultimate-grade artifacts, though she could use them, he had no suitable reason to give them. His artifacts had all been lost in the Thunder Tribulation. Producing them now would be inappropriate. I'd have to wait. Senior brother. Duguling gazed at his aged yet still handsome face, a blush rising on her beautiful cheeks. The long-cooled affection between them seemed rekindled by this ultimate-grade beauty pill. After a moment of tenderness, Duguling's beautiful cheeks flushed red as she put on her skirt. She looked at Xiao and sighed, Senior brother. My ethereal longevity art is cultivated based on the pure Yin physique. I'm afraid that in this life you and I can never become Tao companions. Xiao shook his head with a smile. It's all right, junior sister. If not in this life, then in the next. Having spent 1,000 years with you, I Xiao consider it enough. He knew that the reason Duguling had made such extraordinary progress over the past 1,000 years, reaching the 9th level of the spirit transformation stage, was entirely because she possessed the rare pure Yin physique, which appears once in 10,000 years. This was also the reason Ji Shui had taken a liking to her back then. Although this physique allows for rapid cultivation, it cannot be bonded with a man, or once the pure Yin physique is broken, the cultivation speed will be greatly reduced. Before the next stage after spirit transformation, the soul transformation stage, junior sister Dugu must maintain her pure Yin body. Duguling looked at Xiao with a slightly guilty expression and said, Senior brother, I have disappointed you so much in this life, yet you are still willing to give me such a precious supreme appearance stabilizing pill. Senior brother, I have already understood your feelings. This 1,000 years you have worked hard. In the future, if you have such inclinations, I will not stop you, but senior brother, you must be a bit restrained. Don't make it known to everyone. Xiao's old eyes lit up at these words. This was exactly what he wanted. Junior sister would not stop him, and master was in seclusion. Those supreme elders have no time to bother with such matters. From now on, he can safely send gifts to the daughters of fortune. Before leaving, Duguling instructed, Senior brother, I am already looking for a Tao companion for you. Rest assured, I will find a woman who resembles me in appearance to be your Tao companion. This way, in your final few decades, you will be with me at all times. After saying this, Duguling took the appearance-stabilizing pill and, filled with excitement, flew away from the courtyard. She could hardly wait to return and try the effect of the supreme appearance-stabilizing pill. Meanwhile, Xiao sat down heavily on the chair, staring in the direction Duguling had left, his expression gradually turning dull. A woman resembling junior sister to be his Tao companion. Junior sister. It feels a bit twisted. Congratulations to the host for successfully gifting the supreme appearance-stabilizing pill. First gift to Duguling, triggering a 10,000-fold crit, returning the 3,000 Tao pill. 3,000 Tao pill, a divine pill of heaven and earth born from the fortune of heaven and earth. After consumption, one randomly comprehends a heavenly Tao. Boom. The system's words struck Su Xiao's mind like a thunderbolt. Comprehend a heavenly Tao. Su Xiao looked incredulously at the golden divine pill the size of a fist that appeared in his spatial storage, his eyes filled with surprise. Comprehending the 3,000 Taoists. Isn't this the dream of all cultivators? He had cultivated for 1,000 years, and naturally knew that after reaching the spirit transformation stage, one begins to come into contact with the so-called heavenly Tao. The bottlenecks in the spirit transformation and soul transformation stages are generally broken by comprehending a certain degree of the 3,000 Taoists. Master Ji Shui's seclusion was to enter a secret realm to comprehend one of the 3,000 Taoists. And now a single 3,000 Tao pill allowed him to directly comprehend a heavenly Tao. Doesn't this mean that in the future, when he reaches the spirit transformation and soul transformation stages, there will be no bottlenecks? Too damn awesome. Su Xiao quickly closed the door and took out the fist-sized divine pill from his spatial storage. It was surrounded by a 7-colored glow as if wrapped in immortal qi, remarkably divine. Why is it so big? Do I have to take bites? As soon as he brought the 3,000 Tao pill to his mouth, the divine pill seemed to sense it and transformed into a stream of 7-colored light flying into Su Xiao's mouth. Afterward, a strange energy surged within his body. An inexplicable power of law enveloped him, and at that moment he felt as if he had entered the immortal realm, beginning to experience the wonder of the 3,000 Taoists. Congratulations to the host for comprehending the Earth Fire Tao of the 3,000 Taoists. Name: Su Xiao, age 1,008 years, Realm Foundation Establishment, 7th level, special physique, Earth Fire, remaining lifespan 301 years. After a long while, the shroud of law power around Su Xiao disappeared. He came back to his senses, feeling the Earth Fire Tao he had just comprehended, his aged face flushed with redness. It's the Earth Fire Tao. His heart was extremely excited. Every one of the 3,000 Taoists could lead directly to the immortal realm of eternal life. And he had directly comprehended the Earth Fire Tao. Regarding the Fire Tao, there are many branches among the 3,000 Taoists. Earth Fire is the Samadhi, true fire, the Earth Fire among the 3 fires of heaven, earth, and man. This is the fire of wood and stone, and the most commonly used flame. As for heavenly fire, it is the fire of the 9 heavens, thunder, tribulation, crucial for passing tribulations. Human fire, on the other hand, is the heart fire generated within the human body, also known as karmic fire. Raising his hand with a slight thought, the law power of Earth Fire appeared, and a bright yellow-red flame emerged in Su Xiao's palm. Its supreme temperature made the entire room roll with heat waves. It was unimaginable what would happen if such a small flame were thrown onto a person. Even a nascent soul cultivator would be in big trouble if touched by it. Too awesome. Su Xiao excitedly withdrew the Earth Fire and took out the Nanming Li, the already fiery red and hot sword blade. After Su Xiao used the Earth Fire divine ability, a flame of extreme temperature began to burn on the blade. Su Xiao looked at the combined power of the two and swallowed his saliva. After comprehending the Earth Fire Tao, the power of his Nanming Li sword had also increased by several tens of percent. It is no exaggeration to say that with his current strength at Foundation Establishment 7th level, with the Nanming Li sword and Earth Fire enhancements, his attack power alone is comparable to his nascent soul 9th level. Even more ferocious. Impressive. Su Xiao nodded with satisfaction, withdrew the Earth Fire and the Nanming Li sword. He was now overflowing with confidence. Although his realm was still lacking, his strength had greatly increased. Moreover, after comprehending the Earth Fire Tao, the spirit transformation and soul transformation stages would no longer have bottlenecks. As long as he passed the nascent soul 9th level thunder tribulation, his cultivation would soar with the help of the system, catching up with junior sister. I can hardly wait, he. Su Xiao sat cross-legged on a meditation cushion, smiling contentedly. Time passed quickly, and in the blink of an eye 2 months had gone by. During these 2 months, Jin Liuxiang used 30 Foundation Establishment pills, returned 60 Yunjin pills, and advanced to Foundation Establishment 5th level. Meanwhile, Su Xiao, under the frenzied feeding of resources, successfully advanced to Core Formation 1st level. As he wished, he could use the sword control art to fly on a sword, chasing clouds and pursuing the sun. Over the past 2 months, the rumors about Su Xiao within the sect had gradually subsided. After the sect leader Dugu Ling personally instructed Lu Danian, the latter led a team of enforcement officers and cracked down vigorously on those who dared to gossip in private. Anyone caught was severely beaten and had their monthly spirit stone allowance docked. The outer disciples were terrified into silence, not daring to mention Su Xiao's name unless they were within the safety of their own quarters. It seemed to have become a taboo within the Ethereal Cloud sect. However, a subsequent incident once again ignited the disciples of the Ethereal Cloud sect. This time, no matter how hard the enforcement team tried to suppress it, they could not contain the fear and anxiety of the outer disciples. Jin Luxiang's master Zhou Xiao was dead. Along with his 2 apprentices, they had mysteriously perished outside Tiger Roar City. After being expelled from the ethereal cloud sect, the three had relied on their considerable cultivation to secure jobs as guards in Tiger Roar City. But after leaving the city on an assignment, their bodies were discovered in a dense forest outside Tiger Roar City. The news quickly spread back to the ethereal cloud sect, leaving the outer disciples utterly terrified and disheartened. To have offended Elder Su. Such was their miserable fate. My goodness. Now these disciples were so frightened they dared not even breathe a word. Being caught by the enforcement team was bad enough, resulting in a beating and a fine of spirit stones. But if one were to inadvertently offend Elder Su, their very life would be forfeit. Thus the revered and noble Su Xiao underwent a dramatic transformation in the hearts of the disciples. He went from being a kindly, benevolent elder to a sanctimonious, corrupt elder who kept a mistress. Moreover, this corrupt elder wielded immense power and held a lofty position within the sect. These disciples, upon seeing Su Xiao from afar, dared not even approach to greet him. Some of the more attractive female disciples, upon seeing Elder Su pass by, were so frightened that their beauty faded and their hearts trembled. At the small courtyard on the outer mountain, having advanced to the core formation stage, Su Xiao listened to Lu Danian's report, stroked his goatee, and asked with confusion, "Danian, why has my reputation become so tough? Now when those disciples see me, they flee as if I were a ravenous wolf or a ferocious tiger. Some of the female disciples are even scared to tears. Am I really that terrifying?" Lu Danian, clad in a bagua robe, swallowed hard. Looking at his bewildered senior uncle, he felt a deep sense of bitterness. The enforcement team's heavy-handed suppression of the rumors was almost backfiring. Things were going well enough until, to carry out his senior uncle's instructions, he had secretly dealt with Zhou Xiao and his two apprentices. How this news leaked into the sect was a mystery. Now the enforcement team was nearly at its wit's end. But if his senior uncle's reputation had to suffer, so be it. After all, he was nearing the end of his life. As long as his senior uncle was content, that was what mattered. Lu Danian, trembling with timidity, summoned his courage and said, "Senior uncle, once Master finds you a Tao companion, please try to be more discreet. Otherwise, if the rumors spread further, it will be very difficult for my enforcement team." Su Xiao chuckled softly. "Rest assured, Danian. Haven't you noticed that I haven't sought out Jin Liuxiang recently? Your senior uncle is not that kind of person. I think you are exactly that kind of person." Lu Danian dared not voice this thought, merely nodding with a foolish smile. After giving some further instructions, Lu Danian left the small courtyard and returned to the enforcement hall to continue directing his team in suppressing the rumors. At noon, two female disciples, one plump and one thin, nervously came to the small courtyard to pay their respects. Su Xiao smiled upon seeing them and said, "I remember you. How is young friend Lin now? She should have broken through to the foundation establishment stage, shouldn't she?" The two women were naturally Lin Yenner's senior apprentice sisters and close friends. They looked at Su Xiao's kind and amiable face, yet their own complexions were pale. Elder Su had now become a taboo among the outer disciples, a terrifying old man who would kill in anger. The slightly plump senior sister steadied her nerves and knelt in terror, saying, "Elder Su, please save junior sister Lin." "Junior sister Lin? She's trapped in Golden Stone City and can't return." Su Xiao's white brows twitched slightly. "What happened to young friend Lin?" The plump senior sister quickly replied, "Elder Su, a month ago junior sister Lin broke through to the foundation establishment stage and returned to Golden Stone City to visit her family. She was detained by the Dark Demon Sect. Li Jui, the young master of the Dark Demon Sect, has taken a fancy to her and insists on taking her as his concubine. The Dark Demon Sect has also pressured the city lord of Golden Stone City, and it's been arranged that she will be taken back to the Dark Demon Sect in 3 days to be married." Su Xiao's brow furrowed, his expression turning grave. The Dark Demon Sect. This minor demonic sect dared to intercept his destined woman of fortune. It was an act of sheer rebellion. "How did you come to know of this?" Su Xiao asked softly. Seeing that Su Xiao was taking it seriously, the plump senior sister was overjoyed. "Junior sister sent us a message via a transmission talisman. Right now her entire family is under surveillance by the Dark Demon Sect. They can't even leave the city gates. Elder junior sister is very upset. She doesn't like the Dark Demon Sect, nor does she like this Li Jui. But the city lord of Golden Stone has already consented to the marriage. Even though junior sister's family is unwilling, they have no power to resist. Elder junior sister is a member of our ethereal cloud sect. In her final message to us, she hoped we could find a way to save her. Elder, we outer disciples don't even have a master. You are the only one we could think of." Their faces were sincere, their eyes filled with urgency. Their junior sister was in trouble. The Dark Demon Sect was somewhat notorious in the northern region of Donglai country. Only Elder Su could stand up for her. Didn't she tell them she was a disciple of the ethereal cloud sect? Su Xiao's eyes narrowed. "She did," the plump senior sister said. "But the people from the Dark Demon Sect said the sect doesn't interfere in matters of marriage. They even said this would strengthen the bond between the Dark Demon Sect and the ethereal cloud sect. Strengthen the bond, my foot. Su Xiao sneered inwardly, a look of disdain in his eyes. The Dark Demon sect was at best a third-rate sect on the Panlong continent, unworthy even of carrying the shoes of the ethereal cloud sect. Since Lin Yenner was his destined woman of fortune, he naturally would not stand idly by. Having made up his mind, Su Xiao smiled and said, I understand. Thank you for your trouble. He produced 6 foundation establishment pills and gave 3 to each of the 2 women. Young friend Lin and I share a bond of fate. Rest assured, I will bring her back to the sect. These foundation establishment pills are a token of my gratitude for your information. The 2 women were overjoyed. They accepted the pills and kowtowed to Su Xiao repeatedly. After instructing them not to speak of this to anyone, the 2 women respectfully took their leave. Su Xiao then rose, chuckling to himself. It's been a while since I last left the sect. This trip will be a good chance to stretch my legs. Perhaps I'll get lucky and encounter another woman of fortune and make a nice profit. 3 days later, the Xuanma sect would go to Jinshi City to pick up the bride. There was no rush. With a hint of thought in his eyes, he summoned the mid-grade magic artifact, the Meteor Sword. Stepping onto the flying sword, he soared into the sky and flew straight toward Xiao City. On the 3rd floor of the Zilai merchant house, in a fragrant and exquisite private room, the manager Ziyun swayed her alluring figure and walked in with a smile. She wore that purple gauze long dress, her legs faintly visible beneath the skirt. Her proud figure was captivating, exuding a strong charm. She blinked her seductive eyes. She slowly walked over to Su Xiao and poured him a cup of tea. Elder Su, what are you here to purchase this time? Rest assured, Elder Su, as long as you name it, our humble shop will not disappoint you. Ziyun sat beside Su Xiao with a hint of melancholy. She gazed at this handsome old man who seemed so righteous, yet a trace of oddity flickered in her eyes. Ever since Su Xiao gifted her a magic hairpin, she knew he would come looking for her again. With her charm, it was a foregone conclusion. Su Xiao stated bluntly, Manager Z, this time I am here to procure a batch of spell talismans, and I require high-quality ones. Spell talismans contain inscribed spells that once activated release a one-time magic effect. They are excellent aids for cultivators to defend themselves in battle. However, high-grade talismans were extremely rare, usually given by senior sect members to young prodigies as protective charms. Ziyun raised an eyebrow, her seductive eyes sparkling. And what grade does Elder Su require? Do you have nascent soul stage talismans? Su Xiao asked with a smile. Nascent soul stage talismans once activated could unleash a strike equivalent to a nascent soul cultivator's attack. Although of little use against nascent soul cultivators, they represented a formidable deterrent for those below that stage. Of course, they were equally useless for Su Xiao now. What he truly valued was the reward. After gifting nascent soul talismans, he would receive divine transformation stage talismans, or even the non-existent void refining stage talismans. This trip to Jinshi City was to retrieve his destined daughter of fortune, so he naturally had to prepare thoroughly. Nascent soul stage. Ziyun's expression shifted, and she chuckled. Elder Su, you've come to the right place. In all of Xiao City, only our Zilai merchant house possesses nascent soul talismans. Moreover, such top-grade talismans are scarce. The highest-grade talismans on the market were of the nascent soul level. This was common knowledge. Su Xiao inquired, how many talismans does your establishment have? Ziyun replied with slight excitement. We have 9 left, 5 Thunderbolt talismans, 2 Earthfire talismans, and 2 Ice Sword talismans. Elder Su, these talismans were painstakingly refined by Divine Transformation stage cultivators. Their quality is superb. Keep them for your juniors. They might save their lives in a critical moment. Su Xiao nodded and asked, how many spirit stones per talisman? Not expensive. Only 20 high-grade spirit stones. That is indeed not too pricey, you'll take them all. Hearing this, Ziyun's face lit up with joy. This old man truly spent lavishly. He didn't even haggle. A huge profit today. Before long, Ziyun respectfully returned with the 9 talismans. The spirit stones were exchanged on the spot, and she took the initiative to give Su Xiao a discount totaling only 160 high-grade spirit stones. After putting away the talismans, a glimmer flickered in Su Xiao's aged eyes. He retrieved 3 Thunderbolt talismans from his spatial ring. Gazing at this alluring grade daughter of fortune, he stroked his beard and said with a smile, Manager Z, ever since our last parting, I feel a special bond between us. This old Taoist has little longevity left, and I want to use up these talismans. Seeing that you have not yet reached the nascent soul stage, I would like to gift you these 3 nascent soul stage Thunderbolt talismans for your protection as a token of goodwill. Su Xiao was confident. As a merchant cultivator, she valued spirit stones and would not refuse. Giving me 3. Ziyun stared at Su Xiao in shock. This old man really spared no expense in pursuing her. 3 Thunderbolt talismans. That was 60 high-grade spirit stones. That was an enormous sum. At that moment, she suddenly understood why this inner elder of the Piao sect had failed his tribulation. His mind was too preoccupied with such matters. No wonder he failed. Ziyun immediately accepted the 3 Thunderbolt talismans from Su Xiao. Such a generous gift, she would never refuse. Elder Su, you are truly too generous. Ziyun stored the 3 talismans away, then gracefully rose and walked over to Su Xiao, embracing him. A faint fragrant breeze wafted over. Elder Su, men like you are rare. Ziyun sighed. Even in your old age you are so handsome. If you were young you would surely captivate a host of female cultivators, wouldn't you? A little handsome, I suppose, Su Xiao replied with a soft chuckle. The closer their relationship, the easier future gifts would be. If only you were young. A charming smile graced Ziyun's delicate face. Now that you are old and your years are few, otherwise I would wish to become your Tao companion. She had her own calculations. If he kept giving like this, she would seem rude if she didn't reciprocate. As an elder of the Piao sect, Elder Su must have amassed countless spirit stones over a millennium, hence his generosity. Though nothing could happen between them, she needed to keep him spending at the Zilai merchant house. Moreover, despite his age, Su Xiao was genuinely handsome, possessing a Elder Su, do come to our Zilai merchant house again next time. Ziyun's face flushed with charm, and she said no more. Su Xiao smiled. With a beauty like you here, Manager Z, this old Taoist would never go elsewhere. Their relationship had advanced. The next gift would be even more natural. Another stable win-win partner secured. At noon the next day, Jinshi City. Situated in the northern part of the Donglai Kingdom, it was nearly 1,000 li from the Piao sect, a distance not considered far. Su Xiao leisurely descended from his flying sword, arriving outside Jinshi City in just a couple of hours. In his spatial storage he kept 3 purple thunder talismans, each with the power of a nascent soul 9th layer cultivator, ensuring his safety. Moreover, his southern brightness Lihua sword now resonated with the earth fire Dao, granting him combat prowess no less than before. Jinshi City was vast, its streets bustling with traffic and vibrant activity. Outside an imposing mansion, 2 disciples of the Xuanma sect clad in black robes blocked Su Xiao's path. Old man, if you don't want to die, get lost. The Lin mansion is now under the control of our Xuanma sect. No one is allowed near. The 2 men with fierce and menacing expressions fixed their gaze on Su Xiao, radiating the aura of early core formation cultivators. These were elite disciples of the Xuanma sect, 7 or 8 of them present, along with an elder leading the group. All to ensure that in 2 days the young master could wed the young lady of the... Su Xiao looked at these arrogant Xuanma sect disciples, a flicker of surprise passing through his aged eyes. Had the people of the Xuanma sect become this overbearing now? What are you looking at? Look again, and it'll gouge out your eyes. You old bastard, 1 foot in the grave, why aren't you scurrying away? The 2 Xuanma sect disciples, haughty and arrogant, stared at the elderly Su Xiao, their words utterly devoid of courtesy. Their sect dominated the nearby cities, and even the Donglai Kingdom could do nothing against them. With a demonic sect backing them, this third-rate Xuanma sect acted with extreme arrogance around Jinshi City. Still not leaving? It seems you old bastard needs a lesson. One of the Xuanma sect disciples lunged forward, seemingly about to kick Su Xiao's frail body away. The latter's expression darkened, and in an instant a ball of red and yellow flames materialized, shooting silently towards the disciple. As the fist-sized flame touched the demon sect disciple, the fire spread rapidly. The disciple, terrified, desperately tried to extinguish it. But the red and yellow flames clung like a stubborn curse, impossible to put out, burning ever more fiercely. Old man, who are you? Stop this now. The Xuanma sect disciple had become a human, torched, the flames blazing fiercely as he screamed in terror. The other Xuanma sect disciple, seeing this, paled in shock. He rushed to help, but to no avail. In just 10 breaths, the disciple consumed by the earth fire was reduced to a pile of black ash. You? Who are you? The remaining disciple stared at Su Xiao in utter terror. This white-haired old man appeared to be only at the core formation realm. But how could his strength be so terrifying? Such a fearsome flame technique was beyond anything he had heard or seen. Why didn't you ask earlier? Su Xiao shook his head, a cold glint in his eyes. It seems we haven't disciplined your demon sect in recent years, leading you to hallucinate that you're invincible. It's time for our Piao sect to step in and rein you in. When the Xuanma sect disciple heard the name Piao sect, his eyes widened in shock. Piao sect. The other party was from the Piao sect. Didn't the Piao sect usually remain aloof from worldly affairs? Could they be willing to oppose the Xuanma sect for the sake of an insignificant outer disciple? But he had no time to ponder further. The scorching red and yellow earth fire had already spread across his body. Filled with immense terror and agonized screams, this Xuanma sect disciple followed the same fate, burned into a pile of black ash. Lifting his foot, with a loud bang, Su Xiao's aged frame kicked open the Lin Mansion's gate. Inside the main courtyard, several Xuanma sect disciples were seated, eating meat. Servants and maids attended to them, their faces pale, with fear, submissive, and cowering. How did you get in? Didn't the men outside stop you? The Xuanma sect disciples' expressions changed at the sight of Su Xiao. How had such an old man gotten in? Were those two junior brothers useless? Old man, we're talking to you. How did you get in? Don't you know the Lin mansion is under our Xuanma sect's control? Several disciples rose approaching Su Xiao with hostile intent. The leader among them, a late core formation cultivator, glared ferociously at the old man. If his answer displeased them, he was ready to kill the old codger on the spot. But before they could react, Su Xiao moved his hand. The Southern Brightness Lihua's sword was instantly summoned, transforming into a streak of light as it shot toward. As the disciple of Ji Shui, the Piaomiao sect's supreme elder, he had also been accustomed to arrogance his entire life. He was thoroughly displeased with the Xuanma sect. This had little to do with Lin Yin'er anymore. He was displeased, so he would kill. Before the Xuanma sect disciples could even react, the Southern Brightness Lihua soared like a fiery meteor, weaved back and forth across the main courtyard. In just a couple of breaths, it pierced through the chests of every demon sect disciple. So swift and fierce was its power that even their protective artifacts were useless against the Southern Brightness Lihua sword, empowered by the earth fire. This was the might of a ninth-layer nascent soul cultivator. The group of demon sect disciples, clutching their flame-engulfed chests, spat out mouthfuls of blood. They fell one after another, staring in terror at the old man before them. You? Who are you? The flames on their chests began to spread. In endless horror and despair, these demon sect disciples were all burned to black ash. I told you all to ask first, Su Xiao said, retrieving his sword with a wry shake of his head. Though even if they had asked, he would still have killed them. The scorching heat and the gruesome deaths of the Xuanma sect disciples terrified the nearby servants and maids out of their wits. They screamed frantically and fled for their lives. Murder! Murder! At that moment, 4 figures rushed out from the main hall ahead. Among them were an old man in a black robe, a middle-aged man, a beautiful woman, and Lin Yin'er dressed in a white gown. When Lin Yin'er recognized Su Xiao's face outside the door, her youthful, pretty face froze in an instant. Elder Su. Elder Su had come. She stood petrified. In an instant, she pieced everything together. Her senior sister must have told Elder Su about her situation. At this moment, her heart surged with excitement, as if she had grasped a final lifeline. Ignoring the man in the black robe beside her, she ran straight towards Su Xiao. Elder Su. The kind, warm smile he had shown her earlier replayed infinitely in her mind. At this moment, tears streamed down her face. She had no family at the Piaomiao sect, but now Elder Su was her family. Elder Su had come to rescue her. Hee, little friend Lin, I already know about your situation. Su Xiao looked at Lin Yin'er, who was clutching his arm and sobbing uncontrollably. He patted her head gently and said kindly, come with me. Return to the sect and cultivate diligently. No one will dare bully you. My. Lin Yin'er tightly grasped his hand. She was finally saved. The middle-aged man and the beautiful woman looked at Su Xiao, hope gleaming in their. This. Elder Su. He must be an elder from the Piaomiao sect. The Piaomiao sect had come to save Yin'er. Meanwhile, the old man in the black robe looked at the ground littered with the ashes of the Xuanma sect disciples. His sinister, ruthless face darkened. Then a vast nascent soul aura suddenly erupted, instantly enveloping Su Xiao. You truly have audacity. How dare you slay disciples of the dark demon sect? Have you not considered the consequences? Even if you are a nascent soul cultivator, you shall never escape the relentless pursuit of our sect. The elder in black robes fixed his gaze with the fierce and sinister intensity of a hawk. He stared at Su Xiao, unleashing the overwhelming aura of his nascent soul's 6th-layer cultivation. In an instant, the entire Lin estate was enshrouded by his terrifying nascent soul presence. The nearby mortal servants, caught in this oppressive force, collapsed unconscious on the spot, grievously injured. The middle-aged man and the beautiful woman beside him stumbled back in terror. As mere core formation cultivators, their faces turned deathly pale under the dreadful pressure radiating from the black-robed elder. Their eyes were filled with shock. Elder Hawk, please calm your wrath. There must be some misunderstanding. The middle-aged man shouted hastily. Fear gripped his heart. Elder Hawk of the nascent soul 6th layer was a powerful senior elder with real authority in the dark demon sect. With his profound cultivation and mastery of the dark demon art, if a fight broke out, this kindly elder from the Misty Cloud sect would likely be no match. For he sensed no nascent soul aura from the opponent. Perhaps this Elder Su was merely an outer sect elder with high seniority, but low strength. Misunderstanding. Elder Hawk's eyes brimmed with murderous intent as he pressed aggressively. There is no misunderstanding. 8 of my dark demon sect disciples lie dead. This old Taoist has committed a capital offense. The Misty Cloud sect, a decrepit and pretentious ancient sect shrouded in mystery. Let me see if it lives up to its reputation or is merely hollow. A mixture of fury and contempt flared within him as he gazed at Su Xiao, who appeared to be only at the core formation stage. He had already resolved to kill. The man came alone, likely just an outer sect elder of the Misty Cloud sect, killing 8 core formation disciples of the dark demon sect. Even if he killed this old Taoist, the Misty Cloud sect would have no justification. Courting death With a swift motion of his hands then, a black, baleful aura emerged from Elder Hawk's hands. It swirled above his head, coalescing into a massive, ghostly visage that lunged straight at Su. Death to all who slay my dark demon sect disciples. The black ghost face carried a dreadfully terrifying momentum, its gaping maw half the size of a face, as if intending to devour Su Xiao whole. The latter's aged countenance bore a trace of disgust. These demonic sect fools, all of them, seemed to have turned into brainless imbeciles from practicing dark arts. He raised his two withered old hands slightly. Crimson-yellow flames sprang forth from the void itself. The moment two fist-sized flames appeared, an overwhelming wave of searing heat surged forward. As if melting the very air, the flames transformed into two fire phoenixes that charged ahead and crashed into the terrifying ghost face with a loud puff. The crackling sound of burning echoed continuously. In less than 2 breaths, Elder Hawk's ghost-face devouring technique was utterly incinerated by Su Xiao's flames, leaving no trace behind. The face of Elder Hawk before him shifted dramatically, his sinister eyes tinged with astonishment. The middle-aged man and woman behind him also stared at Su Xiao in shock. This elder, although seemingly not yet at the nascent soul stage, his mastery of fire techniques was terrifyingly powerful. Could this be the true foundation of the Misty Cloud sect? SSSHHH. As they snapped out of their daze, still immersed in shock, Su Xiao moved his sword fingers, and a meteor of flames shot into the sky. The fiery meteor then swooped downward, aiming straight for Elder Hawk's chest. Old man of the Misty Cloud sect, do not underestimate the Dark Demon sect. Elder Hawk's face contorted with rage as a refined iron circular shield flew from his chest. The shield, gilded with gold, transformed into a radiant wall of light guarding him. This was his pride, the superior-grade magic artifact, the Golden Light Shield. Under his nascent soul 6th layer power, its defensive capabilities were astonishing. No magical sword could shatter the defense of his Golden Light Shield. Boom! The Southern Bright Lihua sword collided with the radiant wall, unleashing a terrifying wave of energy. Lin Yin'er, the middle-aged man, and the others were thrown back repeatedly by the shockwave, barely able to keep their footing. The battle of nascent soul cultivators was indeed terrifying. Crack! Under the impact of the Southern Bright Lihua sword, cracks spread from the point of penetration on the radiant wall. The crimson-yellow flames wrapping the sword blade hissed, scorching the light shield until its radiance dimmed. This sight, witnessed by Elder Hawk, filled him with immense. He even found it utterly unbelievable. Boom! As a Dharma artifact, the Southern Bright Lihua sword's formidable blade carried scorching flames. In moments, it shattered the radiant wall conjured by the Golden Light Shield into pieces. And this was only the power unleashed by Su Xiao at the core formation. If he reached the nascent soul stage, the Southern Bright Lihua sword and the earth fire would be even mightier. Impossible. Elder Hawk's dark eyes trembled. Before he could react, the Southern Bright Lihua sword struck the Golden Light Shield itself, shattering the gilded circular shield into fragments with a loud bang. Then, with undiminished momentum, with a swift whoosh, the sword at an astonishing speed pierced straight through Elder Hawk's gaunt chest. His sword control technique was so fast that Elder Hawk had no chance to cast any other spells before being impaled and engulfed in flames. You. Elder Hawk clutched his chest, terror spreading across his aged face. He never imagined that an ordinary old man at the core formation stage could unleash such a powerful attack. His indestructible Golden Light Shield couldn't even withstand a single blow. Crimson-yellow flames blazed fiercely on his chest, threatening to consume his entire body. But he was already gravely wounded, his spiritual energy dissipating, utterly powerless to suppress the terrifying flames. You are courting death. The Dark Demon sect will not forgive you. Oh! Flames engulfed Elder Hawk's entire body in an instant, and amidst his endless terror and despairing roars, he was burned into a lump of charcoal. Dead beyond any doubt. Retrieving the Southern Bright Lihua sword, Su Xiao stroked his handsome goatee and glanced at the pale-faced Lin family members. He smiled slightly and said, I am Su Xiao, an inner sect elder of the Misty Cloud sect. I have come to take Lin Yin'er back to the sect for cultivation. May I ask which of you is the head of the Lin family? Calm and composed, Su Xiao, who had just slain the Dark Demon sect disciples, now appeared like an ordinary old man. Harmless. The middle-aged man in brocade robes snapped back to reality, his face pale, and walked over trembling. He stopped before Su Xiao, still filled with trepidation, and bowed with clasped hands. Greetings, Elder Su. I am Lin Dadong of the Lin family. Lin Yin'er's father. Beside him, the beautiful woman in palace attire with a graceful figure also approached, trembling. She had a lovely face, appearing to be in her 30s, exuding the mature charm of a married woman. Both were astounded in their hearts. This Elder Su Xiao was actually an inner sect elder. Yin'er, you even know an inner sect elder of the Misty Cloud sect. Lin Yin'er gazed at Su Xiao, her bright and beautiful eyes filled with admiration and reverence. Elder Su is so powerful. At that moment, a plump middle-aged man in a golden robe rushed into the main courtyard of the Lin residence in panic. When he saw the dark demon sect disciples reduced to black ash, an elder hawk turned into charcoal. His oily fat face instantly turned deathly pale. Trembling with fear, he said to Lin Dadong, "Brother Lin, what in the world happened here? How did Elder Hawk and the others end up like this?" He was Jin Hao, the city lord of Goldstone City. This marriage arrangement had been handled by him. Now before the young Master Li Jui of the Dark Demon Sect could even come to claim his bride, all the sect members were dead. He felt as if he might faint from shock. After a brief period of less than half a quarter, Lin Yener introduced Su Xiao to the three of them in detail. Lin Dadong and Jin Hao's expressions drastically changed at the news. An inner sect elder of the Piaomiao sect with such lofty status. And also the senior brother of the Piaomiao sect's leader. Moreover, a disciple of the supreme elder of the Piaomiao sect. Lin Dadong and Jin Hao were momentarily stunned beyond measure. Could this white-haired old man with an immortal air and ethereal appearance actually hold such a high position within the Piaomiao sect? Then how did Lin Yener, an ordinary outer disciple, come to know this inner sect elder? Lin Dadong and his wife were both shocked and overjoyed. The city lord of Jinshi City, Jin Hao, however, was both shocked and terrified. It was he who had arranged the match between the Xuanma sect's Li Jui and Lin Yener of the Lin family. Now this highly esteemed elder of the Piaomiao sect had come to take the person and had even slain Elder Eagle and his retinue. How could he possibly explain this to young Master Li Jui in 2 days? Standing in the courtyard, Su Xiao glanced at Lin Yener beside him and said with a kind smile, "Young brother Lin, your Yener has a fateful connection with me, an old Taoist. I see her as clever and obedient, and I have the intention to nurture her. This time I am taking her back to the Piaomiao sect for cultivation. Let the marriage with the Xuanma sect be called off." Lin Dadong and his wife felt a surge of excitement within. With such a senior from the Piaomiao sect taking a liking to Yener, her future in the sect would be boundless. "Yes," Lin Dadong said excitedly. "We will follow Elder Zu's instructions. Elder Yener will be in your care from now on." Jin Hao, however, was full of bitterness and fear as he bowed before Su Xiao and pleaded, "Elder Su, this marriage is a decree from the Xuanma sect. They insist on marrying the young lady of the Lin family. Brother Lin, you agreed to this before. If you go back on your word, the Xuanma sect will surely not stand for it." Lin Dadong looked at Jin Hao, his thick brows slightly furrowed. He had indeed agreed, but it was out of fear of the Xuanma sect's tyranny. He did not want his daughter to marry a scoundrel like Li Jui. During this time, he had discreetly inquired and learned that Li Jui, the young master of the Xuanma sect, had no fewer than 10 concubines. A true degenerate and lecher. If Yener went to the Xuanma sect, the consequences would be unimaginable. Su Xiao turned to Jin Hao, his aged eyes carrying a hint of authority, and simply said, "City Lord Jin, you dare to arrange a marriage for a disciple of my Piaomiao sect without authorization. I am already being generous by not holding you accountable. Go now, seek out the Xuanma sect yourself and annul the engagement. Tell them that Lin Yener is to return to the Piaomiao sect for cultivation." Jin Hao's face turned pale once more. He was only at the first level of the nascent soul stage, and Elder Eagle and his men had already perished in Jinshi City. Going to the Xuanma sect to annul the engagement would be certain death. "Elder Su." Jin Hao fell to his knees before Su Xiao, his face full of desperation. "Elder, you killed Elder Eagle and the others. How can I possibly go to the Xuanma sect now? That would be walking right into a trap. Elder, in truth, I never wanted to be the matchmaker. But the young lady of the Lin family is so beautiful. Li Jui saw her once and became obsessed, constantly threatening and bribing me. Please, Elder, act on behalf of Jinshi City. Annul the engagement in the name of the Piaomiao sect." The other party had been able to kill Elder Eagle, so his cultivation must be. Moreover, as a highly esteemed inner sect elder of the Piaomiao sect, he dared not offend this Elder Su Xiao more than the Xuanma sect. Su Xiao looked at this greasy fat man, a hint of disdain in his aged eyes. How could such a person become the city lord of Jinshi City? Indeed, underhanded dealings existed everywhere. Lin Dadong and his wife also frowned. If the engagement was not smoothly annulled and the Xuanma sect disciples came looking for Elder Eagle only to find him dead, Jinshi City would suffer. As Su Xiao pondered, the system's voice suddenly appeared. Detected Fate's adversary Li Jui. Identity: young master of the Xuanma sect. Issued quest: kill the Fate's adversary Li Jui. Quest reward: next gift will surely trigger a 1,000-fold critical hit. A quest. Su Xiao's aged eyes moved a glint of light, flashing within. This 10,000-fold return system actually had a quest to slay a Fate's adversary. Wasn't this a clear gift from the system? Li Jui of the Xuanma sect. Final, just kill him on the way. Clearing his throat, Su Xiao spoke with authority. Since City Lord Jin has put it that way, this old Taoist will help to the end and deal with the matter of Li Jui. Tell me, what is the current situation of the Xuanma sect? Jin Hao, Lin Dadong, and the others felt a great relief upon hearing this. Truly worthy of a righteous sect, and the paragon of the orthodox path. The Piao sect indeed had depth and responsibility. Lin Yin'er was even more flattered by this. Elder Su was too good to her. Far too good. She could never repay the elder's kindness in her lifetime. Jin Hao quickly spoke up. Elder Su, it's like this. In 2 days the Xuanma sect's young master Li Jui will arrive with the wedding procession to collect the bride. At that time Elder Su can step forward and annul the engagement in the name of the Piao sect. With your seniority in the sect, Li Jui will surely think twice and dare not defy you. This way Jinshi City will be safe and the young lady of the Lin family can smoothly return to the Piao sect for cultivation. Jin Hao was excited inside. With an inter-sect elder of the Piao sect speaking for Jinshi City, the Xuanma sect should not dare to disobey. Su Xiao nodded slightly. Then he said slowly, then for these 2 days. Jin Hao quickly interjected, please stay at my city lord's mansion for these 2 days. I will welcome Elder Su with the highest honor and utmost courtesy. Very well, I will wait for this Li Jui to come. 2 days passed in a hurry. During that time Jin Hao entertained lavishly at the city lord's mansion with an endless array of fine food and wine. The Piao sect stood aloof from the mundane world. Now with Su Xiao's identity, even the emperor of Donglai Kingdom would have to pay his respects upon meeting him. At dawn 2 Li outside Jinshi City, a large contingent of people flew in on swords. After landing they summoned from their storage pouches a line of exquisitely decorated puppet carriages. The carriages were draped in red phoenix and dragon cloth, and the surrounding Xuanma sect disciples were also clad in red. In the foremost carriage sat a young man with a feminine air wearing a large red cape. A red flower adorned his chest, and he was dressed as a groom. His eyes held both eagerness and a sharp glint. The mere thought of Lin Yin'er's pure and beautiful face made him long to enter the bridal chamber that very night. He was Li Jui, the young master of the Xuanma sect. Clearing his throat, Li Jui laughed heartily. 3 elders. Young master. The 3 leading elders responded in unison. 5 banner vanguards. Present, young master. The 5 black-clad vanguards laughed back. Seated disciples. Present, young master. The dozens of elite disciples around him bowed with clasped hands. Li Jui's eyes gleamed as he laughed. Today your young master is getting married. All of you, no matter whether Lin Yin'er agrees or not, we are taking her back to the sect today and holding the wedding on the spot. Yes, young master. Everyone shouted loudly, their eyes full of excitement. When the young master married, they would receive a substantial reward of resources. Lin Yin'er of Jinshi City, even if she screamed until her throat was hoarse, she would still have to obediently follow the young master back to the sect and share the bridal chamber. Before the gates of Jinshi City, Jin Hao along with the city's officials and the Lin family had already gathered to welcome the arrival. Before long the demon sect's bridal procession appeared in the distance. Before they could even discern the figures, Jin Hao, Lin Dadong, and the others felt an overwhelming, transcendent, nascent soul pressure bearing down upon them from all directions. The spiritual energy around them churned violently, and waves of roaring air surged one after another. As the demon sect's bridal party arrived at Jinshi City, a group of nascent soul cultivators unleashed their oppressive auras, enveloping the welcomers ahead. This was the demon sect's show of force. So many sect experts had been dispatched solely to ensure the young master could claim his bride. Jin Hao and Lin Dadong's group swallowed hard, their faces turning pale. So formidable. Even among this bridal procession from the demon sect, there were several with the aura of a nascent soul 9th layer expert. Sweat beaded on the brows of Jinshi City's officials, and fear flickered in their eyes. The demon sect, with just a casually dispatched bridal party, possessed strength far surpassing that of Jinshi City. Truly a mighty demonic sect. The people of Jinshi City were utterly shaken by the approaching demon sect disciples. With only Elder Su from the Misty Cloud sect present, it seemed breaking off this engagement would be no easy task. Greetings to young Master Li of the demon sect. Haha, you look even more vibrant than a few days ago, young master. Please come in. As the procession neared City, Lord Jin Hao plastered a fawning smile on his face and stepped forward to welcome them. Though his face bore a smile, deep concern churned within him. The nascent soul pressure from all sides made it hard to breathe. He didn't even dare to bring up the matter of calling off the engagement. Even less did he dare mention that Elder Ing and the others had been killed by Elder Su. Li Jui snorted with a cold laugh, casually waving his hand at Jin Hao. When his gaze fell upon Lin Yin'er standing beside Lin Dadong and his wife, his eyes widened, a sharp gleam flashing within them. She was clad in a simple white dress, her posture graceful, pure, and captivating. Her slender, graceful figure stood like a delicate willow branch, elegant and poised. Her fair, beautiful face radiated boundless youthful charm, like a lotus emerging from clear water, stirring the soul. Her snow-white, smooth skin shimmered with a delicate luster, and her long, slender neck was elegant and enchanting. A gentle breeze stirred her jet-black hair, causing it to dance lightly, embodying the unique grace of a young maiden. After marveling at her beauty, Li Jui stepped forward and leaped down from the carriage. Surrounded by his demon sect followers, he clasped his hands behind his back and questioned coldly, Jin Hao, what is the meaning of this? Did I not tell you that this young master is here today to claim my bride? And this is how you present Miss Lin? Where is her bridal finery and phoenix coronet? Do you intend for Miss Lin to return to the sect with me dressed like this to perform the wedding rites? A booming crash echoed as Li Jui's nascent soul stage aura surged forth like a flood. Seeing the young master's displeasure, the nearby demon sect disciples fully unleashed their nascent soul auras, pressing down on the surroundings. The people of Jinshi City changed color, overwhelmed by the ferocious beast-like pressure, stumbling backward one after another. Even Lin Yenner's delicate face turned pale as she clung tightly to her mother. Young master, please calm your anger. Jin Hao hurried over to Li Jui, his face a mask of bitterness. His corpulent frame trembled slightly, his expression one of someone wanting to speak, but hesitating. Surrounded by the demon sect members, he dared not even mention breaking the Elder Su, please come out quickly. Jin Hao, it seems you don't want to stay in Jinshi City any longer. Hurry up and take Miss Lin back to change into proper attire and bring her here again. Li Jui shouted angrily, flames of rage flickering in his sinister narrow eyes. If not for his satisfaction with Lin Yenner's beauty before him, he wouldn't have wasted words on Jin Hao and would have simply beaten him soundly. Did you not hear the young master? Why haven't you gone yet? The 3 Yin elders and the 5 banner vanguards glared, their faces hostile as they fixed their eyes on Jin Hao, as if the slightest refusal would trigger an outright explosion. This terrified Jin Hao, who trembled and inwardly lamented his bitter fate. Lin Dadong and the others from Jinshi City were also filled with anxiety. The demon sect had come prepared. Would Elder Su be able to successfully call off this marriage? Just as Jin Hao was caught in a dilemma, an aged laughing voice came from a carriage nearby. Immediately after, an old man in gray robes with white hair and beard slowly emerged from the carriage and stepped down. Li Jui, I am taking Lin Yenner away. This marriage is hereby annulled. When Su Xiao stepped before the crowd, Jin Hao and Lin Dadong's group finally breathed a sigh of relief. With this intersect elder of the Misty Cloud sect backing them, they finally had the courage to say no to the demon sect. What a... Upon hearing the white-haired old man's words, Li Jui's expression shifted drastically. His dark, narrow eyes were filled with shock and fury. Who are you, old man? Who asked for your opinion here? Li Jui shoved Jin Hao aside and stepped forward, brimming with anger, to question him. The demon sect disciples behind him followed, their imposing aura and overwhelming pressure once again causing the people of Jinshi City to change color. Haha, I am Su Xiao, an intersect elder of the Misty Cloud sect. Lin Yenner is a disciple of our Misty Cloud sect. This marriage my sect does not consent to. Su Xiao spoke coldly, a hint of mockery and contempt in it. An intersect elder of the Misty Cloud sect. Su Xiao's words struck like a thunderbolt, jolting every member of the demon sect. Someone from the Misty Cloud sect had come. Li Jui and his men were in turmoil. An intersect elder of the Misty Cloud sect. How could a mere outer disciple alarm an intersect elder of the Misty Clouds? After the initial shock, Li Jui and the others were momentarily stunned. But sensing that the white-haired old man seemed to be only at the core formation stage, the demon sect disciples once again glared at him with anger. A mere core formation old man dares to claim he's an intersect elder of the Misty Cloud sect. He doesn't even think before bragging. Does Jinshi City dare to defy the commands of their demon sect? And they even hired someone to impersonate a Misty Cloud sect elder to call off the engagement. Courting death. Old man, at your age daring to impersonate a Misty Cloud sect elder, you must be tired of living. A burly man, seeing Su Xiao blocking the way, immediately flew forward, intent on killing him. He was the Fire Banner Vanguard at the nascent Soul Third Layer. Jinshi City clearly refused to release the woman he intended to make an example of Su Xiao. The burly man conjured a saber artifact and swung it down at Su Xiao's head. His nascent soul's spiritual energy flared, and the saber gleamed with light. This strike carried earth-shattering power. Boom! In an instant, a fiery red divine sword shot forth. The South Bright Lihua, sword-bearing Boundless Might, hurtled towards the middle of the saber. Clang! The saber collided with the divine sword and was immediately shattered. It then broke through the Fire Banner Vanguard's 2 protective artifacts and directly blew his head off. Red and yellow flames began to consume both the broken saber and the Fire Banner Vanguard. Within 3 breaths, the broken saber had melted into a pool of molten metal in the flames. As for the Fire Banner Vanguard, his headless corpse was charred black by the fire, a gruesome sight. Hiss! This happened so fast that neither side had time to react. After the Fire Banner Vanguard's blackened corpse fell with a thud, only then did the crowd turn to Su Xiao in disbelief, drawing in sharp breaths. Their eyes were filled with profound shock. You? Li Jui stared incredulously at the elderly man before him. He was certain now. The spiritual energy the other had just released was clearly only at the core formation stage, and the early stage at that. But wielding that crimson flying sword, even a nascent soul cultivator could not withstand it. Moreover, the man dared to kill members of the Black Demon Sect. Shock transformed into the utmost fury as Li Jui's eyes turned bloodshot, a murderous glare directed at the old man ahead. The surrounding Black Demon Sect disciples were also stunned by Su Xiao's thunderous display. The Fire Banner Vanguard, a nascent soul third-stage cultivator with several protective artifacts, had been slain so easily by this opponent. Unbelievable. Meanwhile, at the Jin Hao Lin Dadong side, the crowd from Goldenstone City was pale with terror, their faces filled with dread. Elder Su, why did he suddenly start killing? Wasn't it agreed that he would only annul the engagement? Lin Dadong and his wife shielded Lin Yin'er behind them, their faces equally shocked. Elder Su, so advanced in years and seemingly gentle, how could he become so terrifying the moment he encountered Black Demon Sect members? With this, there was no turning back. They would face endless retaliation from the Black Demon Sect. In fact, Lin Dadong was already contemplating fleeing. If negotiations broke down, he was ready to take his wife and daughter and disappear into hiding. If the conflict between the Misty Cloud Sect and the Black Demon Sect arose, because of Lin Yin'er, his Lin family, mere tea merchants, would surely be crushed without a burial place. Su Xiao calmly retrieved his divine, sort of faint smile on his aged face as he looked at the Black Demon Sect disciples who dared not move. Daring to lay hands on an inner elder of the Misty Cloud Sect, Li Jui, do you know that this could bring destruction upon your Black Demon Sect? Though his voice was aged, it carried an imposing aura that commanded respect. The heritage of an ancient sect was displayed in full measure. Such was the confidence of invincibility. You are truly an inner elder of the Misty Cloud Sect. Li Jui's face paled. He had doubted it, but upon witnessing the divine sword wielded by this core formation elder, his resolve wavered. That sword, wreathed in flames, was at least a supreme-grade magical sword with immense offensive power. In fact, it was among the finest of such swords. Otherwise, there was no explanation for how a mere core formation elder could slay the Fire Banner Vanguard. Suddenly, a thought struck Li Jui, and his expression changed. Eagle Elder, what have you done to Eagle Elder? A foreboding sense surged in his heart. Yet he dared not act too presumptuously before Su Xiao, for the reputation of the Misty Cloud Sect as the righteous leader was not without merit. Su Xiao said indifferently, "That old fool was disrespectful to me. They are all dead now." The Black Demon Sect members' faces changed again. Eagle Elder and his group had also fallen to this old man. Outrageous. Old man, you go too far. Li Jui was consumed by rage, his face flushed red. But his remaining reason told him not to antagonize the Misty Cloud Sect. If he killed an inner elder of the Misty Cloud Sect, the Black Demon Sect could not withstand their wrath. This matter must be discussed with his father. Now the thought of taking Lin Yin'er as a concubine had faded from his mind. Such trivialities were insignificant compared to the Misty Cloud Sect. He could not understand why an inner elder of the Misty Cloud Sect would come alone to rescue a mere outer disciple. It baffled him. Su Xiao chuckled. So what if I go too far? What can you, a mere wet behind fears brat, do to me? If you have the nerve, make a move. Let's see if I don't pierce you with a single sword strike. A worthless scoundrel like you, besides chasing women, what else can you do? You're nothing but a stinking pile of garbage. The mockery was relentless. Li Jui's fury multiplied 1,000-fold. You? Old man, how dare you? Li Jui was nearly exploding with rage. Had this old man truly come for Lin Yin'er? This was clearly a provocation against the Black Demon Sect. Old man, die. You've killed so many of my sect's disciples. Even if the Misty Cloud Sect comes, we have the right on our side. Li Jui immediately drew a high-grade sword ready to fight Su Xiao to the death. Young master, remain calm. The three Yin elders stopped Li Jui. Their aged eyes flickered with fury, but reason prevailed. Killing this old man would mean utter enmity with the Misty Cloud Sect. Even if they were in the right, the Black Demon Sect would be at a disadvantage. After all, the two sects were not on the same level. Su Xiao continued his taunts. And you three old fossils, at your age you still indulge this brat's reckless behavior. It seems you've lived your long years in vain, like pigs and dogs. Boom. Su Xiao's words struck like thunder, exploding in everyone's minds. Now not only the Black Demon Sect, but even the people from Goldenstone City stared at Su Xiao in bewilderment. Elder Su. What was going on? He had already killed so many of their disciples, and the Black Demon Sect had shown restraint. Using the Misty Cloud Sect's influence should have been enough to smoothly annul the engagement. But clearly the other party had no intention of stopping. He even cursed the three Yin elders. Jin Hao Lin Dadong and the others were almost dumbfounded. Even Lin Yin'er, standing behind, was stunned, unable to comprehend Elder Zu's actions. Old man, what did you say? You're courting death. Out of respect for the Misty Cloud Sect, we were going to spare you, but today, even if the Heavenly Emperor himself came, you must die. The three black-robed elders were livid at Su Xiao's words. They were the top 3 elders of the Black Demon Sect, overseeing all internal and external affairs. To be cursed by a mere core formation old man. No longer restraining Li Jui, they drew their artifacts and said, "Young master, let's kill this Su first. Well, deal with the consequences back at the sect." Perhaps he's just a peripheral figure of the Misty Cloud sect bluffing. Li Jui, already seething with rage, drew his sword at the elder's words and summoned the Black Demon Sect. Black Demon Sect disciples, hear me. This Su Xiao has killed our brethren and insulted us. Seize him and tear him to pieces. The disciples' eyes gleamed with murderous intent. Then all of them drew their artifacts and surged towards Su Xiao like a tidal wave. Today this old man would die without a doubt. The people of Goldenstone City turned pale with fear. They quickly retreated to evade the assault of the Black Demon Sect disciples. Their cultivation was too weak to resist alongside Elder Su. Jin Haolin Daedong and the others were utterly bewildered. What was happening? Elder Su was too fierce. One would think he bore a deep grudge against the Black Demon. Old Su, face your death. Li Jui led the 3 elders at the front, followed by a host of elite demon cultivators. With such a lineup, even a careless soul formation cultivator could be overwhelmed, let alone this little old Su. Foolish beyond measure. Su Xiao remained calm, merely smiling. He could discern that among the demon cultivators the 3 elders were the strongest, each at the nascent soul 9th stage. Even with his southern bright fire sword, it would be troublesome. But he had a plan. Soul formation 9th stage, purple lightning thunder, talisman, your turn now. With a purple talisman in hand, Su Xiao stood as steady as a mountain, his eyes filled with anticipation.